Yes, this was
I'm Pat Harvey.
And I'm
yesterday.
Juan Fernandez. We start tonight with developing news. Deputies on the hunt for the woman accused of stabbing an Inland Empire fire captain to death.
Well, KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers has been working this story from the desk, and in fact, we've been working it for the last few days. Mike, you've learned the suspect has already served time for a death back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, you know, Pat and Juan, this story has certainly taken a wild turn. The suspect in this case is that fire captain's wife, and I've learned through court documents that in the year 2000, she was convicted of killing her then husband in San Bernardino County. Prosecutors accused her of using a knife to kill her husband back in 2000.
Crazy bitch.
They originally charged her with premeditated murder. She would later plead that down to voluntary manslaughter, serve 9 years in state prison before being released to parole. Now she is a suspect in the murder of the fire captain from San Bernardino and Riverside counties. This is the suspect's photo from back when she was in CDCR's custody. Her name is Yolanda Mercedes Olnejazak. Right now, she is outstanding. San Diego Sheriff's deputies don't know where she is. We'll show you some video here of the fire captain that she is accused of killing. This is Fire Captain Becky Marodi. Becky Marodi was in the fire service for 30 years in the Inland Empire, both in San Bernardino and Riverside counties, most recently working at the French Island Fire Station. San Diego Sheriff's detectives responded to her home in the Ramona area of San Diego County earlier this week on a reported person down. When they got there, they found the captain suffering from multiple stab wounds. She was ultimately determined to be dead. Her body taken to the coroner's office in a procession style from her home. Now San Diego Sheriff's detectives are looking for her wife, who they accuse of being involved in the murder. And again, in a very bizarre set of circumstances, she has already been convicted of killing her then husband back in the year 2000, serving 9 years in prison. Tonight, San Diego Sheriff's detectives are looking for her in connection with her wife's
this is
murder.
California for you.
Well, this is very bizarre indeed. All right, thank you so much, Mike.
Well, I mean, this. Remember the fucking trash can bros in Texas? Take your swing. Shit. Oh fuck, man.
The
Crazy
wife
shit.
of a Cal Fire captain, now wanted in her death, previously served time for killing her former spouse. Rebecca Marodi was found stabbed to death Monday in her Ramona home. Yesterday, authorities named her wife of 2 years, Yolanda Marodi, as the prime suspect. Investigators now reveal that Yolanda Marodi previously served 13 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter in the 2000 death of her then husband, Jim Olnejazak. She remains at large. Authorities believe she may have fled to Mexico.
You fled to Mexico. Why can't I connect? All right. CPAC. Oh,
Sleepy Joe.
yeah, that was good. Yeah, I put that video up this morning, or well, in the afternoon after I was finished. But that the CPAC video should be up with the Trump speech in it. It's like towards the end.
Got to stay with Crook. He had one ability that I didn't have. He could do something that I couldn't do. I don't say that because he was a horrible golfer. Remember, he challenged me during the debate to a golf match? He said, I'm a 6 handicap. I said, you're not a 36 handicap. He said, he's a 6. And then he said, well, I'm 8. Remember? I said, that was quick. Picked up 2 strokes. He said, no, I'm an 8. But he's not a 36 handicap. But he had one ability that was amazing.
So?
He could go with cameras on him, television, fake news on him, probably because he knows they wouldn't cover it badly. You know, they covered him as well as you can cover him. How the hell can you cover the guy well? But he had this incredible ability. He could barely walk in the sand. Somebody thought he looked great in a bathing suit. And he'd walk in the sand pulling a thing that weighed about 6 ounces. You know those aluminum? See, aluminum's very good. You can, a child, it's meant for children and very old people to lift, right?
Dude, that was awesome!
So he would put it down, and he'd put it down, and he'd fall into it, and he'd immediately fall asleep in front of the media. I could never do that. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I could never
he
do.
didn't fall asleep at this conference.
No, he was Sleepy Joe, but he was crooked as hell. You know, there's no question. He was a sleepy, crooked guy.
Oh, Sleepy Joe. Oh yeah, some shit went down with the Pope. He's apparently in critical condition. Not looking good, dude.
We have breaking news out of the Vatican this morning. We're learning Pope Francis is now in critical condition after suffering a long asthmatic respiratory crisis that required high flows of oxygen. This is a live look from Vatican City. The Pope will be skipping Sunday prayer for the second straight week as he remains hospitalized. He is reportedly alert, but in more pain than yesterday. The 88-year-old pontiff continues to fight pneumonia and a complex respiratory infection. He was admitted to a hospital in Rome February 14th with bronchitis, but doctors later detected pneumonia in both lungs, along with a bacterial, viral, and fungal infection on top of his chronic bronchitis. So we'll continue to monitor his condition.
It was no joke. Oops. Asthma goal gets fired from OTK. I'm pretty. Ever since he was all like, well, I guess I don't know if that was. Well, doesn't matter. Everyone's organizations going downhill. Apparently. What we got here?
Hello again. One of the things which never ceases to amaze me is the absolute obsession in this country with what our ancestors might have been up to in the 18th century, and the way in which it blinds us to what is going on in Britain right now. Slavery was certainly a big thing 300 years ago in this country and in Africa, but it's also becoming a big thing right now. There have been a number of convictions under the Modern Slavery Act since it was passed a decade ago, and new cases crop up often enough. Ironically enough, Africans seem to be rather more, shall we say, represented in this field than other folk. Fun fact, I'm guessing that very few viewers will know that the first person ever to be convicted in this country under the Modern Slavery Act was an African woman, a Liberian called Joseph Ayamu. I give a link in the description to this video to her conviction 7 years ago. It is strange that with all our desire to proclaim our past guilt for slavery, that it should be Africans who are ending up in our courts for this kind of thing.
UN judge.
The latest such trial, and
like I said, the UN is corrupt.
Remember that the person concerned is still on trial, is of a Ugandan High Court judge.
Hi, handsome.
She's also a judge at the United Nations. She's on trial in Oxford at the moment for a string of alleged offences, including witness intimidation and keeping a slave. Her name is Lydia Mugambi, and she may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. A curious circumstance is that most newspapers seem to be a little shy of listing the offences with which she has been charged. And the reason for this is very simple, because one of the charges includes the word slavery. This is not a good look in modern Britain, where we are all expected to pretend that slavery was just something which we white people were ever keen on. I give a link to the case in the description to this video. Viewers might perhaps like to ask themselves why it is that the first person ever charged under the Modern Slavery Act in this country was an African woman, and also how odd it is that it should be an African woman on trial in Oxford rather than, say, an upper class white English person for slavery offences. Those who know about the history of slavery will, of course, know that Africans were every bit as involved in the business as white people. We, however, decided centuries ago that slavery was wrong and gave it up. In Africa, there was great reluctance to abandon the practice, despite the efforts of British colonial administrators to stamp it out. This may perhaps account for the fact that some present-day Africans still seem to be very keen on keeping slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, people want to bring back slavery. I mean, if some people in America seem like they want to fucking bring back slavery. Her question is, why an African is a judge in this country? Ashamed of nothing, offended by everything. Yeah, I know, right? To keep banging on about slavery 350 years ago and completely ignore slavery today never ceases to amaze me. I know. Strange how social justice talks about diversity all the time, but is silent when it comes to slavery being a truly diverse trade. Strange indeed. That indeed. Africans started the slave trade with America. If they had not already had slaves and sold them to the Europeans who visited Africa, the slave trade would never have started. I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone was doing slave trade. Everyone was trafficking humans. Yeah, it's just strange that we're having to go through this shit again. A woman from Uganda, Miss Mugambe, denies the 4 charges against her. High court judge in Uganda fucking was using a slave to make her life easier and at the least possible cost to herself. Oh, those are just allegations. I guess slaves are back on the table. Killer who ate part of his victim granted super. What the fuck? Nah, dude. You'll just get your you'll just get your fucking brains eaten out. That okay? Tyrese Smith, known as the Cannibal Killer, was granted conditional release from a psychiatric hospital by Connecticut's Psychiatric Security Review Board after doctors deemed him fully rehabilitated. Oh, this was a... Wait, was this the guy that was like... Oh yeah, it was that axe guy! Oh my god, it's this dude! Oh shit! Oh my fucking god. This dude is back! Local Ball expressed outrage at Smith's hearing he possessed. I guess the boy's strong opposite during the hearing that releasing Smith jeopardizes public safety and conveys injustice to victims of violent crime. Well, even his own family is just like, no, don't bring him back. I forgot if it was the guy at the it was there. Let's see if there's a video. I don't think there's a... After murdering a homeless man and eating parts of his brain in a Connecticut cemetery. Oh, okay. This guy was in a cemetery. No, okay. It's not the guy I was thinking of. Oh, actually, the guy I was thinking of actually got shot up. There was one guy with a fucking, he was like, apparently he was carrying a foot, and he was eating the foot, and then the cops come up and blast him. It was very fucking weird. I mean, the cops didn't just blast him, but they were like, dude, they weren't following his commands. And the dude had a knife in his hand, too.
And an update tonight to a disturbing story out of Bridgeport where a man was killed with an axe, then his killer ate part of his body. Our Frank Recchia has this exclusive update.
As the family spokesperson,
56-year-old Talitha Frazier of Bridgeport speaking for the immediate family
from the day we left court,
of 35-year-old Angel Gonzalez, her brother-in-law.
We called him Toon Toon. That man was well loved by friends and family. He wasn't just a homeless person. He had people that cared about him. He had friends.
In a horrific killing that made national news, court records showed this man, Tyree Lincoln Smith, killed Gonzalez using an axe, then ate part of his body here in a building on Brook Street in 2011.
He didn't deserve what was done to him. Nobody deserves that.
Smith found not guilty of murder by reason of insanity and committed to a state psychiatric hospital for 60 years.
I let my guard down.
But after only 10 years, he was found to be stable, then released back into the community in 2023, staying at a group home in Waterbury.
They didn't take in consideration how we would feel.
An email obtained by News 12 Connecticut from the State Psychiatric Security Review Board sent to the victim's family shows they'll have a chance to give a victim impact statement when Smith goes before the board next month for a periodic assessment. Frazier says she'll be there to say she doesn't feel safe.
But it's hard. It's hard not knowing if this man's going to pop up at our door, if he's going to pop up back on Brook Street. Is he going to take the ankle monitor off? We don't know, and it's something we have to think about.
I mean, yeah, some of those people have like 2 ankle monitors.
One, Frazier with a message for the man who took his life.
You have to go back and do your
Some of those
time.
guys go on the run.
My family is scared. I'm scared.
In Bridgeport, Frank Recchia, News 12, Connecticut.
We reached out to the board and the public defender's office for a comment, but have not yet heard back.
Canada man who beheaded bus passenger granted freedom. Is that the one you were talking about? Yeah, this was back in 2017. He was granted his freedom. Yeah, he was granted his freedom back in 2017. Vince Lee. This is the guy. So yeah. Different people. Oh, dude, there's been some shit going on. Shooting at Air Force Base in New Mexico kills an airman and wounds another. A shooting at Kirkland Air Force Base in New Mexico resulted in one airman dead and another wounded, according to authorities. Incident occurred around 2 a.m., and it's confirmed that it's not terrorism or an outsider attack, as stated by officials. One airman died at the scene, while the other sustained gunshot wound to the hand and has since been discharged from the hospital. FBI investigators are on site and are collaborating with Albuquerque police for the investigation, as reported by the city police spokesperson. In coordinated with Truman Gate will be closed until further note. General traffic into KAFB and those needing a pass to the installation must go to the Kirkland Contractor Gate. And really said this is a developing story, so they don't know what happened yet. Under investigation. Some shit went down. Border Patrol agent whose death is tied to cult-like Zizians is being buried with military honors. U.S. Border Patrol agent named David Mullen. Yeah, we heard about this. I forgot when or which day I read about it. It was the day I think it was like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that. During a traffic stop near the Canadian border. Or was it yesterday? Pretty recent. Lauren will be buried with full military honors on Saturday. Incident involved a shootout linked to the cult-like group Zizians, which investigators say may have connections to 6 deaths across 3 states. He served in the Air Force and State Department before joining the Border Patrol, receiving the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Minnesota State Rep. Krista Knudsen remarked that Molland will be remembered for his courage and commitment to protecting fellow Americans. AP, Tennessee Star, Winnipeg Sun, Associated Press. Police officer killed, 5 others wounded after gunman holds Pennsylvania hospital staff hostage and opens fire, officials say. A police officer, Andrew Dort, was killed while responding to a shooting at UPMC Memorial Hospital in York, Pennsylvania, where a gunman also died. 5 others were wounded in the incident, including a nurse and a custodian, all of whom are in stable condition after treatment. The gunman, Diogenes Archangel Ortiz, took hostages and exchanged gunfire with police before being killed. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro praised the actions of Dort and other officers for preventing further casualties. Christ, what the hell is going on? There's no image of this guy? Oh, that's the fallen police officer. Oh, that's someone else. Oof. Let's see what's going on in China.
Wow, that guy's blowing up a bank. What the heck? He's got a gun. Run. Let's go, go, go. Don't just stand there watching. Look, he's blowing up an ATM. On the evening of February 16th, around 8 p.m., an incident occurred in Shanghai involving a suspected bank robbery. A viral video circulating online shows thick white smoke billowing from an ATM while a man wearing a helmet stands nearby, holding what appears to be a firearm. Other footage shows police officers and firefighters arriving at the scene. One witness commented, "Looks like he came well prepared, setting off smoke bombs at night to rob a bank." Chinese media later confirmed the incident, reporting that the individual involved was a 17-year-old male who had purchased smoke canisters online, typically used in mock combat games. He allegedly set off the smoke outside the bank's entrance and was subsequently apprehended by police.
What?
Bank staff confirmed that the bank was closed at the time and no losses were incurred. Media reports also indicated that the suspect's family disclosed a history of mental health issues with multiple psychiatric consultations in the past. It was reported that he had recently failed to take his prescribed medication and has since been sent to a hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. However, some online commenters expressed skepticism about the mental health explanation. One user questioned, if he really has mental health issues, how was he able to order smoke bombs online and choose a bank as his target?
Yeah, that's a good question. Also,
Commenters expressed skepticism about the mental health explanation.
Jesus.
One user questioned rebound once the holiday ended, but even after, well, at least now he won't have to worry about his next meal. The incident has sparked wider concerns about the ongoing economic struggles in China, even after the Lunar New Year holiday. Many had hoped that businesses would rebound once the holiday ended, but economic difficulties persist, even in traditionally wealthy cities like Shanghai. A TikToker recently posted a video highlighting the sluggish state of the city.
Let me show you what the streets of Shanghai look like right now. It's Saturday, February the 15th, 2025, at around 12:30 in the afternoon. Technically, the Lantern Festival is over, and people should be back to work and school by now. The streets should be bustling like before, but when I came out to buy something, I saw this and felt really disheartened. I'm in Xuhui district in Shanghai right now. Look around. These 3 storefronts are closed. They used to sell nuts and snacks. This San Huang chicken shop is closed too. That's 4 shops. There was a steam bun shop here. It's closed as well. That's 5. And here's a Moxibustion clinic, closed.
Oh, it's looking like California.
Over here, a shop that sold glutinous rice balls, also closed.
Dang.
7. Look, at the salted goose shop, 8 shops shut. And this one here, gone for a few days. And now there's a sign saying the landlord's changed. That makes 9 shops. Across the street, another shop's closed, 10. And then the scallion pancake shop here is closed too. That's 11 shops.
While running a business has become increasingly difficult, finding a job is even harder. In a widely shared video, a delivery worker is seen frantically chasing a man who allegedly stole a meal he had just picked up to deliver.
Hey, motherfucker, come back!
Catch him, stop him, don't run. I'm just a delivery guy. Do you know how hard I work? I left my bike to pick up a meal, and now this other meal is gone. Stop running, come back. He stole my order. I caught him, but I can't hold him. Just call the police. Another delivery driver passing by says as he walks away. Eventually, the delivery guy catches the person who stole the meal. The thief kneels on the ground as someone steps in to mediate, offering the delivery guy 10 yuan. It's not about the money. You get that, right? He can't just steal my stuff. I work so hard every day delivering food, and now I come back and the meal's gone. In recent years, as China's economy continues to deteriorate, many have turned to food delivery work as a last resort, including former middle-class professionals and fresh university graduates. The growing number of delivery workers has intensified competition, often leading to conflicts with neighborhood security guards, traffic police, and restaurant staff. On February 15th, in Hanzhou, Zhejiang Province, a delivery worker lay on the ground in protest. Besides him, a large sign detailed his situation. He had chosen to stay in the city during the New Year holiday rather than returning to his rural hometown in Yunnan, hoping to maximize his earnings. Despite running deliveries while battling a fever, his request for sick leave was denied. After pushing through a morning shift in the rain, he finally went home in the afternoon but was subsequently fired. His wages were reduced to 3 yuan per delivery, with additional deductions for his lodging costs. The worker said he was seeking public support. A social media user commented on the incident, writing, "Can you imagine? This is 2025. In the world's second largest economy, workers are still being treated like this. Everywhere you look, you see exploited laborers." China is set to see a record-breaking 12.2 million university graduates this year. However, many graduates, including those with master's and even doctoral degrees, are finding themselves forced into lower-paying jobs. For example, the restaurant chain Hai Di Lao recently made headlines when it openly recruited university graduates for delivery positions. This bleak outlook has overshadowed the Lunar New Year holiday. Many people cut their celebrations short and rush back to the cities to secure their jobs or find new ones. Yet, despite their efforts, many remain unemployed. Finding a job this year is so hard. I came to Guangzhou
just become
right
a
after
streamer
the Lunar
like
New
every
Year,
other
on the
streamer.
5th day of the holiday. I've been going to interviews every day, but I haven't landed a single job. I've had so many interviews, but either the positions don't match what I was looking for, or the base salary they offer is just too low. A TikToker filmed the scene at a temporary labor market in Guangzhou.
Holy shit, are all those people looking for work? Dude, that's a lot of fucking people.
This here is the Guangzhou temporary labor market. You wouldn't believe it until you see it. There are crowds of people here looking for jobs. It doesn't look promising at all. People everywhere, but no factories hiring. Seeing this, you could tell most of these people are getting anxious. All these job seekers, but no employers in sight. Everyone's just standing around, glancing back and forth, sizing up the crowd. Look at this and tell me, does this seem like 2025 is going to be an easy year to find a job? Another TikToker commented on the strange atmosphere this year after the holiday. What's going on? No work or no workers? Have you noticed? After the new year, traffic in Guangdong suddenly got worse than during the Spring Festival rush. But look around Dongguan, the streets are empty. Where did everyone go? A TikToker jokes about how he can beat a 50-year-old security guard at the job. I'm 22, a college grad, and I'm working as a security guard. And you think I can't keep up with older guards here? Come on. I spent 16 years studying hard to get a bachelor's degree, and now I'm doing a job people usually get at 50. I just skipped 30 years of detours. Been working for a month now. Already made 4,000 yuan. Easy money. Lately, social media has been flooded with discussions about how tough 2025 will be. A TikToker shared their analysis of the current job market. Unemployment right now, for many, means permanent unemployment. I know someone who used to sell luxury cars, but as we all know, high-end cars haven't been selling well lately, so he left that job. Then, seeing how hot the electric vehicle market was, he applied to several of the top EV companies. Not one hired him. A TikToker recently shared observations about hiring trends in the electric vehicle industry. According to the post, EV companies are predominantly hiring university graduates who are willing to accept lower salaries. The TikToker questioned, why would manufacturers spend money on a top-tier salesperson when they can invest in hardware development or pay influencers to promote their brand? You don't even know who your competitors are anymore. The post added that with the advancements in artificial intelligence, losing a job today might mean permanent unemployment, leaving people with no choice but to take on labor-intensive jobs that machines can't perform. A woman in the foreign trade industry
Everyone's economy
described
is
how
like
this
fucked up
year
right now,
stands
I'm
apart
guessing,
from
so that's why
previous
they're
ones.
跟大家聊一下
Doing
今年
this shit.
开年
We've been back at work for a week now, but business is unusually slow. In past years, everyone reopened right after the holiday. This year, on the first day back, only 2 businesses on our street were open. 3/4 of the companies remain closed. I called some of my friends who also run businesses, and they said they were still in bed because there's no business and they haven't received payments from last year.
The lady noted that collecting foreign trade
Uh-oh. I guess the government's not paying them?
payments has become significantly more difficult. She said, "We still have many outstanding invoices from last year. If we manage to get the money by March or April, that would already be considered good." She also mentioned that after a week of resumed operations, clients are still hesitant to place orders, and the volume of orders received has shrunk significantly compared to previous years. She said, "The start of 2025 feels bleak. Over the past year, Chinese manufacturers have faced growing pressure due to international trade tensions. In response to what it described as China's excess capacity and dumping practices, the European Union raised tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. India, Indonesia, and several other emerging markets
Yeah,
have
everyone's
also
tariffing
implemented
each
trade
other.
barriers against
Everyone's
certain
fucking
Chinese
sanction.
goods, creating
I think there's still
significant challenges
there's
for
still some
Chinese
sanctions
exporters.
on China
The
too because of
ongoing
their
U.S.-China trade war escalated further
stuff
in
in
February
Russia.
when U.S. President Donald Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese imports. Beijing responded with retaliatory measures, and economists warned that these moves are likely just the beginning.
Yeah.
Trump has also
given
announced
now
a
that Trump's
reciprocal
in
tariff
power too,
plan,
yeah.
aiming to match tariff rates imposed by America's trade partners, a strategy that could significantly impact China's foreign trade sector. David Huang, an American economist, commented on the issue, explaining that China has not fully adhered to the World Trade Organization commitments it made when joining the organization in 2001. He said, "China pledged to reduce tariffs, but instead raised the cost of imported goods through consumption taxes and value-added taxes. The U.S.'s new reciprocal tariff policy will strip away a significant portion of China's competitive edge." Faced with weak domestic demand and tighter restrictions in key international markets, Chinese manufacturers are scrambling to find alternative export destinations. However, experts point out that no market can match the scale of American consumer demand. The global tariff war is expected to intensify price competition among
Apparently,
Chinese exporters,
Americans are consuming
further
a lot
eroding
of
their
them.
profit margins and forcing businesses to cut jobs, reduce wages, or scale back investments. Reuters
I'm
reported
not,
that Richard
I'm not
Chen,
buying
the
anything,
owner of
dude.
a
What you
Christmas
mean?
decoration factory in southern China, is unsure whether he can keep all 80 of his employees this year. Chen said, "There's just no profit margin left." Another factory manager, who requested anonymity, added, "There are too many companies in China's foreign trade industry. It's become extremely difficult for everyone." A TikToker analyzed the economic situation after the Lunar New Year holiday. People say the economy is supposed to pick up after the new year, but from what I've seen, it's only getting worse. Just look at the shops around my building. There are 4 or 5 apartment complexes nearby, and we used to have 3 vegetable shops downstairs. The most expensive one closed down. We had 2 fruit stores. The pricier one is gone too. There were 4 or 5 restaurants nearby, and 2 still haven't reopened after the holiday. I feel anxious for the owners. I've also seen 4 or 5 places with for lease signs recently. A real estate office, a breakfast shop, a beef noodle place, even a Hongmen chicken restaurant. But you know what's struggling the most? Hair salons. They've reopened after the Lantern Festival, but when you walk in, they're empty. You might see 1 or 2 men or kids getting haircuts, but no women coming in to get their hair done. He remarked that Vanke Real Estate is grappling with a debt crisis. Wang Jianlin's Wanda Group is selling off more malls. Suning and Shanshan Group might also undergo restructuring. When even these established giants are struggling, what hope is there for smaller businesses? The downturn has hit the restaurant industry particularly hard. One industry insider shared a video describing the situation in major cities. This post-holiday period feels off. During Lantern Festival, and even now, restaurants, bars, construction sites, across industries, things are quieter than usual. We've tried everything at our bar. Lantern riddles, free tangyuan, prize draws, but no one came. It's almost laughable. It feels even colder than the coldest winter nights last year. I've never seen anything like it. He said that his restaurant, which combines online and offline operations, is seeing terrible results. He said that he can't imagine how those without an online presence are staying afloat.
不知道，反正
I don't know. If things don't improve soon, I'll shut my doors. I can't keep running a business like this. Construction has also taken a significant hit, with many sites unable to resume operations due to unpaid wages.
现在工程行业啊，欠薪了，已经成。
In construction, delayed wages have become the norm. Project managers are getting stuck with unpaid bills, and many construction sites haven't even resumed work this year. Even if a site starts up, it often shuts down again after a while. Last year, countless site managers were left empty-handed after months of hard work. This year is turning into a paycheck chase year for construction. There's just no hope left in the industry. A TikToker from Guangzhou shows how deserted the city feels after the holiday. After the new year, Guangzhou feels empty. Where did everyone go? Look at this street. It's practically deserted. I don't know if you've noticed, but before the holiday, the metro was packed. Now it's empty. No crowds, no buzz. Even the restaurants that reopened aren't seeing that post-holiday surge in customers. The pressure on young people in these big cities is intense, and it's hitting businesses hard. The food spot near our office used to be packed. Now, several haven't even reopened. This vlogger said that the wholesale market in the South 3rd Street in Sijiazhuang City is on the verge of collapse. I've been sitting here all day, and there have been more shop owners than customers. Is this just a downgrade in spending? No, this feels like people have stopped spending altogether. These days, everyone's holding tight to their wallets. Doing business right now is getting harder by the day. If this continues, more shops will close. I work in Sijiazhuang doing loan services, and I know a lot of small business owners. One guy really stood out to me. He used to run 8 wholesale shops at the South 3rd Street Market. His business was booming.
He used
now
to
he's
run
out
8
of the
shops.
game. He says he can't bear to come back to a place that holds so many bitter memories. The economic difficulties have become visible even in tourist hotspots like Sanya, Hainan Province, where increasing numbers of people are seen sleeping on the streets.
Sanya. Homeless.
And then there's Sanya. Just look at the people sleeping on the streets. One TikToker said, "The wave of unemployment is growing more intense. For ordinary people, 2025 looks like it will be a year of immense hardship and anxiety."
They're trying to figure out if they're... Some of these people are still trying to find work and shit. The bank steals citizens' monies. Isn't robbing the bank just a withdrawal? The banks have been refusing to give the people their own money. Something had to be done. All these people are still robbing banks. This is when they stop robbing banks, when things will get really dire. Since that means people just flat out don't view money as valuable anymore. I believe the CCP devalued the Chinese yuan in response to the new tariffs in place. This will mean the Chinese junk will become even cheaper. Problem is that there is no market for junk anymore. The ATM made a statement. Cough, I could have done more. This is present day China. Just make it to the new year. Then after the New Year festival, they just gave up and didn't bother to reopen, or just couldn't reopen. I also agree that the devaluing of the yuan won't help much because people, the world over, are feeling squeezed. Yeah, I mean everyone's feeling squeezed. Up in Europe, British land, Canada land. And then you got Trump tariffing, right? Reciprocal tariffing people because they've been tariffing us. You got a lot of overspending and shit. It's bad. We got a deficit in some states. We probably have a United States deficit at this point now, given what we've been spending money on the fucking USAID and shit. Yikes. And then the fucking Social Security. Ouch. Holy. What do you got for home math?
And I don't feel like people should care about your past dating history if I'm on a date with you now.
Why do you think guys care so much about body counts?
That's a good question. I don't have a clue.
Me neither.
Yeah, he does. We all do. All of these things matter in different ways to everybody, but they all matter. And this one matters a lot, and too many women don't get that.
If we get to talking and your past comes up, you know, I promise you I will listen and I won't say nothing to you. But I swear to God, I'm judging. Oh, I'm judging. I can't look past you telling me that you got in high school. I'm sorry, I can't. I won't say anything to you. We
yeah,
can
I know a couple people
but
who did.
As far as you getting cuffed, oh, you're cooked, baby. That's
who did the deed
no, there's no
in,
way. The fact that I know it
school,
happened now, I still think that it can happen again. You can still come over, like I'm telling you, but that's your max contract. You're not getting a signing bonus. You're not getting an extension. That's it. I'm judging, and I'm judging every word. Like, what?
That's probably what I would do too. Some women seem to think we shouldn't do this.
It's just a weird thing to ask. And I don't feel like people should care about your past dating history if I'm on a date with you now.
Here's why that's really, 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 really dumb. This is the ick indicator. It's a tool for understanding why women get the ick, which is when you do something that shows weakness and then she doesn't like you anymore. There are two types of icks.
Right, the moment you show weakness to a woman, they will disregard you even more.
Type 1 is not manly enough, and type 2
just
is
look at the
too
IDub
girly,
situation.
too feminine,
Holy
too
shit, man.
affected by your environment. For example, not spending enough on a date is not enough of a man. And too cold is, oh, poor baby, is the environment hurting you? They're arranged in order of these are your fault and these are her fault. She's unsalvageable, get rid of her. I saw this one happen in real life. A guy clipped bear spray to his belt and his girlfriend said, "You're such a baby." And there were bears. I saw 4 of them. The reason I bring it up is that an ick is not a judgment, it's a feeling. Women don't get out a pen and paper and go, "Should I feel gross right now?" They just do. And when you are lacking purity, that is a male ick. We don't think about it, we just feel it the same way that you do. We might think of you as a keeper, and then we go, "Oh, you did what in college?" By the way, if you want to learn about men or women fast, you should try short form. It's just the best parts of both. Link in the comments. So this attitude
And I don't feel like people should care about your past dating history if I'm
doesn't matter. Let this poor bastard explain it to you.
I'm in a predicament here. I'm talking to this chick, I'm f***ing with her. 3 of them in the room were like, "Oh, we already hit."
That's brutal.
You know, and I'm in a fraternity. I know these guys. They aren't the nicest dudes. And it's not 3, bro. She's 7 of my friends.
Oh,
every time I look at her, I just get this feeling of like utter disgust, and I immediately just go like, "Oh,
you run, dude."
Rose has been in there.
Oh,
this
dude, this
is
is bad.
She's literally like everything I want in a woman, and I would probably marry her if she hadn't 7 of my bros.
Did you hear that? He wants to like her, but when he knows what she did, he can't. Just like you can't like a guy when he does something icky. This has happened to me several times. I will meet a girl, she waits a while for me to get attached, and then she says, "By the way, I did all this," and I go, "Ah, now I need a reason to end it," and then I do. "Oh, I just don't know where I'm going to be in 3 weeks, you know, it's crazy." It's not a conscious process, it's just a feeling. I just don't want that. You may have been lied to, probably by someone who looks like this, about these feelings being a social construction, but this is what that sounds like to us. You don't actually like this guy instead of me. That's a social construction. Doesn't change your mind, does it? I once let a girl stay with me because she was having a hard time, and I found stripper clothes laying around, and I said, "What is this?" And she said, "Oh, I make those for strippers." And I said, "Why do you know so many strippers?" And she said, "I used to work at a strip club, not as a dancer, just selling drinks." And I was like, So just the probability that she was lying was enough. Don't just let people move in with you, by the way. So you can yap and yap all you want about what you think men should feel, but we're not gonna stop feeling it. We're just gonna lie to you.
I won't say anything to you, and we can continue the date. You can still come over, like I'm telling you, but that's your max contract. You're not getting a signing bonus. You're not getting an extension. That's it.
Maybe you'd rather hear it from a woman. Listen to her.
So as women, we need to be very careful about who we entertain. Trust and believe, if you meet a respectable man and he finds out that you linked, dated, entertained a fuckboy, he is going to silently judge you. There are a lot of men who will meet you, think you're beautiful, think you're smart, think you have a lot going for yourself, and that they will find out that you entertained that guy, and it's an immediate turn off. He is not going to respect you. At the time, it's all fun and games, but these things do follow us in our dating history. No man wants to be walking around hand in hand with a girl, and other men are talking about her, laughing at her. Fun is fun, but you still have to use brain when you're entertaining men, because don't let today's enjoyment mess up tomorrow's prospects.
Guess who never learned that lesson? Let's let her talk a little more.
The lowest amount of money a guy should spend on a wedding ring for you.
Oh, it should be like for sure 30, 40K. We have standards here.
Would you have been a little upset if it was 10K?
Yeah, probably.
How do you come to that number?
Well, I was like trying to be polite, and you know how there's the typical, it's supposed to be like 3 months of their salary. Like did what 3 months of his was, and then I lowered it a bit and left some cushion. So I was like, this would be sufficient.
What's the worst question you can get asked on a first date?
What's your number?
Like body count?
Yeah, it's just a weird thing to ask.
Why do you think guys care so much about body counts?
It's a good question. I don't have a clue.
I find videos to react to.
I don't have a clue. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you should have a clue. I don't know.
When people recommend them, they're usually pretty popular. Do you understand why this one was popular? This girl wants a $40,000 ring, but you're not allowed to ask about her past.
We have standards here.
And by we, she means just her. No standards for men, especially this one. Not allowed. Except that we're going to have them anyway. We just won't tell you about them. And then you'll never figure out the reason that the answer to what are we is always, oh, we're just friends.
Situationship. Oh boy. There we go. Whole math. Another some funny shit. 99.9% of women will watch this and will still feel you are wrong. You're just insecure. Yes, I am. I'd prefer a woman who makes me feel secure, and your pattern of behavior doesn't inspire trust. That's a good one. It's hypocritical that they think body count doesn't matter, but they'd be mad if you bought them and used engagement ring. It's almost like they don't want somebody else to have intimate memories with something that isn't precious to them. Gold digger. $4K for a ring and not nagging for the rest of your life. Just to maybe on your birthday get what some other guy got for a Taco Bell meal at his car. He's going to make some lucky guy really broke and miserable. Oh, oops. Good work, clear, compelling signature. Thank you. Keep it up. This isn't complicated. Women don't change, and for me, it's not a judgment so much as an acceptance of facts. Like how I learned about venomous snakes or piranhas. I don't judge them for being what they are, but I'm not trying to pet them either. I think we should just go back to making women and men's property and follow good old Kaiser Well. Kinder Kush Kirch. Women seem to think that they're the only ones entitled to get the ick. Apparently, if men get the ick, we're insecure. But when women get the ick, apparently that's a great indicator that he's garbage and she's a queen. Yes, like queen. Well, fucking what was it? Sparkle, fucking dumb shit. That shit. Oh my god! Fucking put a bullet in me. I've heard something similar to this happening with sex is reversed, but in reference to men being bisexual or having previous engagements with other men. Oh yeah, well, that's a whole nother topic, right? We're just talking about the dynamic between the female and woman. I mean the female and male. Sorry. Because I mean, I feel like the whole the whole transgender right dynamic is they just act like fucking women. Just act like women. Didn't he have some like Oh yeah, he just does a bunch of skits now. He had some before where he where was it? Down here somewhere. No, it was. I forgot which video it was, but one of his videos showed some pretty funny shit. Anyways, on to the next. What's going on with Snow White? Did she lose?
For the new Snow White releases, it's hard to see how things could get any worse for Disney. First, there was the cast clear disdain for the story they were changing and repackaging.
Yeah.
Then, pictures from the set revealed just how far Disney had actually gone. Next, the first two trailers they released had some of the worst reactions we've ever seen. And now with the most recent trailer,
the fucking chat music shit was popping off.
They've officially reached over
Probably
1 million
still popping
dislikes, and Disney looks like they're heading off a cliff with this one.
They made like 3 iterations. They'll probably make a 4th one when the fucking movie releases.
All the while, their most recent Captain America film has been shunned by audiences. Any financial donations by USA to promote DEI messages has also
I wonder if they're gonna make a
and their
fucking
streaming platform Disney Plus is catastrophically collapsing. Disney's even had to cancel their Reimagine Tomorrow program due to all the backlash, and it seems like a rebrand for the company is imminent. And now their next film in just a month's time is going to be of all films Snow White, the most hated upcoming movie ever seen. So could this finally be the nail in the coffin for Disney's cultural crusade and their CEO Bob Iger's career? You see, of the 9 million people who saw the Snow White trailer, it's estimated over 1 million of them hit the dislike button. Almost everybody who knows about this movie is either memeing on it or hating it.
Oh yeah.
And in comparison to the over 1 million dislikes, the trailer has an absurdly one-sided ratio. Not even the Acolyte's first official trailer broke a scary 600,000 dislikes, and people are still dragging it through the mud today. And if the dislikes aren't enough of a sign that Disney should just cancel this film altogether, the comments most definitely are. Almost every single one is a brutal burn on the studio, each more creative than the last. The sheer number has led to some musically gifted creatives to make 3
she brings these. He brings them up.
Songs out of them. And if we're being honest, the only good thing that comes from this movie is that it brings people together for all the wrong reasons. Like the movie. And weirdly, everyone can see this except Disney
together
itself.
to laugh at it.
Before we continue, I want to tell you about War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. Available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile, where you can take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations, spanning from the 1920s to modern warfare. Join a worldwide community of 70 million plus players in intense PvP battles. When you play War Thunder, you'll find that unlike simple health bars, War Thunder's advanced damage model means every vehicle component, engines, fuel, tanks, weapons, and crew can be disabled realistically by enemy fire. And you'll also see different types of armor and ammunition behave just like they do in real life, making combat incredibly immersive. In addition to this, you can also experience its review. You can see exactly how your vehicle or your enemies was destroyed, highlighting penetration and internal damage. Whether you prefer fast-paced action or hardcore simulation, War Thunder offers 3 distinct game modes: Arcade, where you can find fast action-packed gameplay with simplified physics; the realistic game mode with a balanced mix of authenticity and intensity; and the simulator mode, the ultimate challenge with full realism and no resistance. And now with the launch of War Thunder Mobile on iOS and Android, you can take the battlefield wherever you go. The mobile version delivers impressive graphics, intuitive controls, and large-scale battles on land and sea with support, where you can customize your vehicles with countless camouflages, historical markings, and decorations, including community-created designs. All of this with no extra hardware needed. You can just play with a mouse, keyboard, or controller, even in simulator mode. So play War Thunder today for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices. And make sure to use my links in the pinned comment or video description to sign up today. New players and those who haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack on PC or consoles. That also includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle of Valor, and 100,000 silver lines in 7 days of premium. All of this is available for limited time only, so don't miss out. It just seems like the studio needs to realize that they've clearly lost the sway they once had. Once upon a time, people fought to be the first to see Disney's next project. Now, between Disney directors calling fans toxic for complaining about poorly written stories, all moaning at their audience about complaining for bad CGI, and the studio's blatant refusal to do anything meaningful with their live-action recreations, has created a perfect cocktail of hatred. And unfortunately for Disney, this hate is quickly turning into indifference. I mean, just the number of views on this trailer alone is really terrible for a movie of this size. This just tells us that nobody who's seen the trailer actually cares about the movie. Nobody's talking about it online in any positive way, and the only people who care that it exists actively dislike it. It's so lopsided that the song compiling some of the best YouTube comments from the trailer has nearly half as many views as the trailer itself. Really, it's truly unique and impressive feat for Disney to unite the internet in this way. And whether this was all worth the over $300 million they spent making and marketing the thing is another question entirely. But it's just about the worst case scenario for Disney, and anyone that was defending their strange decisions has given up. The hardcore Disney fans are often the ones who are most annoyed, and the generally uninformed casual fans just don't care either. They're just tuning out of all Disney products together. And so at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who you are, you probably won't like this film, and $300 million is just going to go down the drain. From just the trailers alone, the movie looks visually repulsive. There are some obvious reasons why, although it's hard to choose just one. Despite the movie being
I don't think this movie is going to be for the children.
CGI in the dwarfs
is
the result of a series of missteps and flip-flops. At first, there were going to be 7 ambiguous magical characters as seen in the first pictures from the set, and then Disney pivoted and made them dwarfs again, which got even more criticism.
So I don't know who this is technically for.
Because
if it's not for the children, then it's probably for
it's pretty hard to argue that these aren't visually disgusting.
The teens,
they
I
look
guess?
like they're from a movie made 10 years ago for a tenth of the budget. They're stuck halfway between looking human and like a CGI monster, which gives off this horrifying uncanny valley vibe. You can't imagine a parent wanting these creepy things anywhere near their kids. And just looking at CGI from around 20 years ago in films like Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's truly shocking how CGI just doesn't seem to have progressed at all, especially for Disney. And it's likely that this isn't the only thing about the film that's been hastily redone over its production. There's been a bunch of rumors about multiple rewrites, reshoots, and major changes made to the film after poor test screenings and reactions. And as we've mentioned in our previous videos on the topic alone, much of this won't come as a surprise. But what might come as a surprise was the recent revelations surrounding USAID and Disney, and it may inadvertently explain some of the horrendous
Not only
changes
that, but they also they got caught up. Well, I don't know if he's going to talk about the whole shit that's been going on with Disney and them getting caught up in some of their workers have been doing some weird shit in like different areas, different Disney parks and shit like that. So it's like, not looking good.
So hated. With the recent presidential administration releasing their concerns about the influence of government-backed organizations like USAID in shaping media and Hollywood narratives, particularly surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, it becomes apparent that there could very well be a link between this and Disney's awful evolution. Now, allegedly, the US government has used
James
USAID
O'Keefe
to fund media outlets
broke out videos of
and while there's no
some
direct
internal strife that's going on in fucking in Disney. It's fucking hilarious.
Funds,
you could actually go find those. I think he put it out on Twitter. I think he's also put it out on YouTube too.
Aggressive push for
I think
DEI
if you just looked up James
O'Keefe, speculation that it may have
benefited
benefited from such initiatives, as it was these top-down efforts pushed by the media and government to create a false impression of widespread public support for DEI. It's highly likely that all of this stuff was pushed onto the public by huge media companies like Disney, who could have well been very tied up with USAID, but now with USAID support being completely cut off, Disney seems to out of nowhere reconsider its DEI strategy.
He brought up Valiant Renegades.
And with Snow White being one of the last movies entangled in all of this stuff, it might end up being the ultimate lesson for Disney itself. Because a big problem with this movie just stems from the contrast between the original fairy tale and whatever it is that modern Disney is trying to do. You've got the classical elements of the fairy tale and the original Disney movie mixed in. Things like Snow White's iconic dress remain the same.
I don't exactly know who this movie is for. They didn't really tell exactly who they're marketing to.
But the details just don't accomplish that. Their house seems both cramped and massive at the same time. The CGI animals have far less life in them than their original animated counterparts did, and you can tell they knew this was the case in the editing room because they tried to fix it. There is so many clear problems with Snow White already, it's really hard to list them all in one place. In fact, we've actually had to make 2 videos on the topic alone, but one of the most widely hated issues is with its inception and the very idea of remaking their most classic beloved film in the first place. In fact, it's like the perfect storm, taking all of the bad things about modern Disney and putting them into one movie, the one story that Disney had absolutely perfected, and now they want to do everything they can to destroy it. Possibly backed by USAID, it's got needless identity politics, hypocrisy, bad CGI, just the blatant abuse of sacred creative properties, botched casting decisions, and over-bloated production. I mean, pretty much everything you could think of that's wrong with Disney is in this movie, and funnily enough, it's the only reason people are still paying attention to this movie. I mean, just take a few of the more offensive parts of the film away and pretty much nobody would care about it. It's just boring. And this is because Disney has worn out their welcome with their audience. They've abused people's trust too many times and people just don't care anymore. Take one of the most recent Star Wars vehicles, a series called Skeleton Crew. If you haven't heard of this, don't feel like you're in the minority. Despite strong overall reviews,
I don't watch a lot of Disney Plus shows.
So it performed far worse than any other Disney Star Wars production, even the big flops that people actually remember. And it just speaks to the levels of apathy surrounding Disney that's just gotten out of control. And of course, a big reason people give for this is their focus on DEI, as we mentioned with USAID. It's exactly why Disney was so keen to promote themselves as the most liberal, forward-thinking corporation out there. But when film after film after film was sacrificed for their quotas and their empty political messages, people just got sick of it. It's often given as a reason behind their recent troubles. Whether or not that's true, Disney has finally given up on the whole crusade. At least they're implying that they have. Possibly with USA being cut, but who knows. As it seems like almost every major company now suddenly just ditched most of their DEI language from their internal memos.
Oh yeah,
literally
that too.
The
yeah,
second
Trump,
the US election
like,
results were confirmed,
putting in those
they even walked back the
executive
patronizing
orders
triggers
shit.
they played before their old
I don't
films
think
on
that's
Disney
going to have.
Plus.
I didn't
the
think that would
company's now
have much impact on the bit, like on the movies, but I guess it has. What the fuck is actually going on? Wait, so have they just been hiring people who just don't know how to work that well? What are you guys doing?
Focus on being entertainment driven rather than agenda driven. It's exactly why their Reimagine Tomorrow program, meant to amplify underrepresented voices, has completely disappeared. And it reveals what
it just seems like they're just constantly pushing agendas, right? And not actually making entertainment, right? Right, it's like they lost their they lost the creativity, and instead they want to push fucking bullshit social and political narratives, right? It's like, ugh, gross. Fucking gross.
They were meant to try and convince people that Disney isn't an evil corporation, but now they can see that people just don't buy it, and they're completely dropping all of this facade. Of course, Disney themselves has actually been saying this since early last year. In April, the CEO himself said that this era of Disney was over, a year before he said similar things.
I love what you said about wanting to entertain audiences. Critics saying Disney's too woke,
audiences,
but you're just putting out storytelling.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means, and one could argue that sometimes it's used too liberally. That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
It makes it hard to believe, but even if it were true, it's not clear that it would really matter anymore. It's not like we'll be straight back to the good old days. The Disney of the near future will be the same. The profit-hungry, creatively bankrupt Disney we already know. The only difference will be that it has finally shed its coat of rainbow body paint. Today's Disney is very different compared to the one that made the original Snow White. It resembles a sort of shapeless mass, looming over the world and threatening to absorb even more of its culture. And the parts it can get its hands on, like the Marvel, Star Wars, or Indiana Jones franchises, gets repackaged and pushed out onto the streaming service. Original ideas and properties go in one end, mass-produced media
Some of
comes
these
out the
guys
other.
are trying to contend with Netflix too, right? Because Netflix is a big distribution site. Now these guys want a piece of the pie.
Nothing is sacred anymore, as we've seen with the treatment that Snow White is getting. It seems the streaming service has become the real cornerstone of this new business model. They jumped on the bandwagon and got billions and billions for it. but now they need to keep feeding the beast with more content. Otherwise, they just can't justify the monthly subscription, and people eventually stop paying for it.
Yeah, they're trying to be like a Netflix.
Disney has been in trouble for a while, though. We've made a bunch of videos about this throughout the years,
Amazon, right?
but they just keep on posting the prices up because they're greedy and they calculate enough people will stay on to make it worth it. And yet this really hasn't gone to plan. 2023 was not a good year for the streaming sites. It seemed to lose subscribers with every new project. A particularly dangerous drop hit between the second and third quarters of the year. However, the studio recovered some, and by the end of 2024, it was back to 158.6 million subscribers. A few successful projects later, and things were seemingly back to normal. The studio was financially sound, and Disney Plus seemed to be back again, with not a worry in sight. But then, things quickly took a turn. Disney reported record earnings at the end of last year. However, it also experienced a massive subscriber drop. Between October and December, 700,000 people canceled their Disney Plus subscriptions. This sudden loss followed a massive price hike. The studio expected this, warning investors that it expected a modest decline in subscribers during the first few months of 2025. And Bob Iger didn't seem concerned about the loss of subscribers at all. Quote, "We're actually very pleased with where we are sub-wise," he said, revealing the numbers. "As you know, we took prices up significantly fairly recently, and expected the churn would be significantly greater, and it turned out we delivered numbers that were better than were expected." He would go on to focus about the studio's profits, deeming them a sign of creative and financial strength. And it seems Disney expects the subscriber count to drop even further. In fact, it even warned its investors to expect more losses later on in 2025. Perhaps they're just preparing investors for the financial bombshell that will be Snow White. Even if you're Disney, you just can't throw away $300 million too many times. What's worse is that now they focus on their streaming service model, this comes to only compound their losses. If Disney's big film of the spring is terrible, it'll only lose them more subscribers. With this business model, it's unlikely we'll see a return to quality Disney films for years. You have to look at the circumstances and the context that made those films in the first place. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was an all-or-nothing gambit for the company. They put everything they had learned into one top-quality film because if they failed, it meant the company would go bankrupt. It was a make-it-or-break-it moment and they succeeded. And now that film is as much of a classic to us as the original 1800s fairy tale was to Disney back then. It's the result of hard work, mastery of the craft, and dedication to perfection. And you can't imagine.
Well, I mean, they weren't right? They weren't ideologically captured back then either, right? They didn't have these fucking activists pushing, right? Them trying to try and get these activists to pay into their bullshit, right? Or get weird governmental kickbacks, right? It's like
anything like that coming out of modern Disney. The quality came from a lean, hungry Disney. Not the financially obese, greedy, culture-eating monster we know today. If they need more money, they just turn up the pressure valve in their creative property simulation machine. Just crank out another few Star Warses and remake some of those old classics. It's this bitterness that makes the new Snow White movie so hard to swallow. Disney thinks everyone is just stupid, that they'll eat whatever they serve up as long as they slap the right name on it.
Well, I mean, right, it's just like Apple, right? Everyone eats up fucking paying for goddamn Apple products. Or at least some people do. Every year they pay for the new product, and they've been making new products every year, right? To an extent. And people buy it.
A beloved part of culture to make even more money. They've been pulling the same trick for so long that everyone just doesn't care anymore. The apathy is through the roof, but because of Disney's 5-year production cycle for their films, they couldn't react to it. And now we can sit with popcorn, watching how hard this will flop as final retribution to Disney. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring the video. Check out the game on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices using the link in the video description or pinned comment below. If you're new or haven't played in the last 6 months, you'll also get a huge bonus pack across PC
you also got
consoles.
Hollywood and their writers' strike and SAG-AFTRA and stuff. I don't even know what the hell happened with all that shit. I mean, everything is probably blown over now, but you can probably tell that some of those guys are still kind of restless on that stuff. Because it's always at the back of their minds that at one point these the industry could shift in a way they don't like it. I grew up with the stories of fairy tales of Grimm brothers. My mom read them to me in books more than 100 years old. Disney spits on our cultural heritage. I can't wait to see them fall. Yeah. That too. It's called Kill the Passion. Yeah. It's called set your own, destroy your own work through making dumb decisions. Start with Snow White, ending with Snow White. I claim cultural appropriation. Evil Queen being the fairest of them all was a twist I wasn't expecting. I know, right? I did it. I made a movie that no one is going to pirate. Fucking. That's the one from the chat music stuff. The Holy Grail, the epitome of digital rights in the making. A movie that nobody wants to pirate. Yeah, there's the one. Okay, but how does he know how many dislike the trailer if the YouTube doesn't show dislike numbers? This guy. Get the extension. No whites and no likes. God damn. Oh, come on. Is this who I think it is? Oh my god. Is this supposed to be Joker? Or maybe well, I'm just gonna say it's the Joker. This might be someone. Oh shit. I think it's a well thought psyop. Political and morals were always a thing in movies, but they're now forcing the question and the answer into the viewer to reinforce their ideal. No fucking critical thinking. Yeah. Yeah, before movies would just leave it up to your imagination, right? Now they're like now they're giving you their ideological idea for things, right? And you must accept it. You must accept. People is okay when they can get their own conclusions on stuff. But when they're forced, yeah, they're just forcing, they rebel, yeah. And now the elites and producers got what they always wanted, for us to beg to be stupid, or beg for movies to be empty and delete politics. They're gonna give us what we wanted and feed us bland content for entertainment because they molded us to get triggered when critical thinking is in front of us. Huh? They want a dark age, but this time we're the ones who will gladly go there thinking it's free will thinking is being ruptured the lobbyists make. But this is all lobby to take us to idiocracy. I know this is just a rumor, but obviously USAID was not funding Disney to promote DEI. If it were, there is no way that Trump admin would not have a media field day with that. The fact that it is a rumor proves it was false. What? Oh, the whole media aspect of the USAID. I mean, they were sending it to journalists. I don't know if they were sending it to entertainment companies because the USAID is a fucking aid fund for other. It's not for the United States. It's like other places, right outside of the United States. I mean, it may have some stuff to do with the United States, but not all of it. USAID is more of an international thing. It's just to help everyone, and within our own borders too. Igor and his goons now be reborn plans with someone who's actually Disney enough to believe it's true love kiss to restart the poor rubble of a cat. Oh, wisdom for this. Don't let a blind donkey fly a plane. Likewise, don't let a fool rule a prosperous kingdom. Don't waste the treasury. Paint over the tapestries. Invite enemies into his court. And watch the castle crumble, claiming it was the wind. A foolish king fells a kingdom faster than any foe. That's true. Not wrong there. Yeah, self-inflicted wounds will cause you to burn faster. All good. Alright, moon. The crypto disease. Yeah, talked about this earlier today. Well, let's see what he talks about. I think he's talking about the whole, China doing the grabbing somehow grabbing from people's wallets, 1.5, what was it, $1.5 billion? Or like 1.5 million or some shit like that.
Cryptocurrency and the community behind
I think it's millions.
Is a disease. I know that's going to make quite a few people angry, but quite frankly, I don't care. And I also don't feel the need to pepper in a whole bunch of qualifying statements for these people about how it's not all the crypto fans or not every ecosystem out there, because the rot is now so pervasive and so widespread, it deserves to be categorized with a broad, sweeping brushstroke. Of course, the exceptions to that statement are fully self-aware of who they are, thus they won't be angered by this kind of generalization because they know it's true and doesn't apply to them. But to reiterate here, cryptocurrency and the community behind it now are a disease. I'm going to focus on the concept of meme coins for today, but before really anyone starts whining about how it's a fringe topic or non-reflective of the crypto community at large,
everyone hates
sure,
it now.
It used to be,
to an
but
extent.
that idea that meme coins are some sort of
with
fringe
Trump doing what he did
exists only
too,
in the
it's like
periphery of the crypto industry is
not
now
making
categorically
it
false.
any easier.
I've talked about it before in separate videos, but I'll do a simple overview right now for people who never saw it. Pump.fun. Pump.fun is the epicenter of meme coin depravity. Over the last 14 days, it's processed $2.5 billion in volume, with tens of thousands of tokens created daily. Pump.fun is a rigged casino for the lowest common denominator of gambling addict on planet Earth. And for anyone who's getting defensive right now over the tone of my voice and the selection of my words, good. That means you're one of the people who needs to hear it. It's actually a myth that YouTubers are somehow obligated to be respectful to all of their viewers. They're not. Pump.fun is a manifestation of greed. As much as anyone can believe in this word, it is evil. People are attracted to this platform because they can not only make money, but they can reinforce their own chances of making that money by racing to the bottom of human decency. These people call themselves degens, short for degenerate, because somewhere deep in their psyche they know what they truly are, and they refer to the practice of gambling meme coins as the trenches. Live stream feature during its very brief
you got a bunch of, that's right, you have a bunch of influencers
For those of you
doing
typing out
this
a poorly
shit.
written
That's what he
comment right
means.
now before listening to the entire video, and some of you certainly will be, because he can't say that about me. Just stop. Yesterday, the 21st of February 2025, a meme coin was launched on Pump.fun, rapidly achieving a valuation in the millions of dollars.
Yeah.
This meme coin was the
Yeah, this is
tokenization
unfortunate
of a
because
man's death.
people have
I'll not be
destroyed the
showing it. I will
fucking
not be giving
system
the
in a
name.
sense.
But this token was launched because someone chose to repeatedly play Russian roulette
Nobody
live on a
likes
broadcast with the
cryptocurrency
worst
because of
possible
all this
outcome.
shit right
And
here
said,
with the
if
meme
I
coin.
die, I hope you all turn this into
And that's
a
the other thing too. Why are
It
people
was
like
turned
buying
into
into
a
the whole
meme
meme
coin,
coin
rapidly
thing too?
pulling
It's
in
like,
millions of dollars
you
from
guys
this
do your
community
research, like you
as
know
people
that
use
is
the
just
tragedy
the
for
most
personal gain.
dumbest
While the
idea you can
tag,
fucking possibly
suicide,
do.
trended on Pump.fun in one of the sickest displays of human behavior that you'll likely ever see outside of the dark web.
Right,
Make no mistake, I'm fully aware that this kind of
like the blockchain does have a real technological advantage to it. But the fact that there's so many people who are ruining the system is right, it's not doing it any justice.
behavior exists in the world, but it shouldn't exist out in the open with the rest of us. and it should be relegated to fringe, dark, and difficult to access corners of the online world, afraid to ever be seen in the light. That is what these people deserve, the ones trading and profiting from this death token. That they deserve to be ostracized. But instead of...
He's probably talking about like the Haktua coin and all those other meme coins that people have brought up. Fucking Andrew Tate, fucking... I think Aiden Ross made one at one point. Ice Poseidon. Yeah, I mean, some of these people were fucking in the NFT game, fucking in those fucking dumb pictures and shit, right? The Ape Yacht Club bullshit, right? Scandal, all that shit. There was a Solana scandal. What else? Yeah, there was a lot of scandals with fucking cryptocurrency.
Facing societal stigma, the crypto community is now emboldened.
Yeah, and then you had the Sam
Bankman-Fried
shit
to continue
too.
this kind of behavior. Because
you had a bunch of athletes who were fucking cheating people too with cryptocurrency. Man, it's real fucking bad. People have ruined the fucking crypto space. That is 100% sure. Right? People who are not tech savvy have ruined it. Have absolutely destroyed the fucking garbage.
Now becoming vehicles for meme.
Took it to a dumpster and fucking shot it in the face.
48 hours before he was sworn into office as president of the United States, Donald Trump launched his own meme coin on Solana. So far, it's extracted.
Yeah, that wasn't a good idea.
I don't even know
either.
how many tens of millions of dollars from his most dedicated fans, funneling that money.
Yeah,
to
it went up.
insiders
It
and
went up
special
so high
interests.
and then went back down.
What if I told you
like,
that the tragedy I just mentioned, the man who played Russian roulette repeatedly,
Yeah.
what if I said that according to his social media activity, he claims to have borrowed money from his parents to invest in Trump coin before it collapsed? What then?
Wait,
Not
what?
even one day later, as if the soon
this is someone who was
his wife did
investing.
the very same thing. Melania's token was even worse, but realistically, what could anyone do about it?
Wait.
Trump was about to be sworn in as leader of the free world.
She
We don't even
actually
have
made a
regulation
meme
for the
coin.
crypto
They
market
actually
right
made
now,
a meme
so
coin too.
what
What?
could be done? Answer: nothing. Now, there's a phrase that what happens in
Why?
America proliferates to the world, but honestly, I never really bought into that. Maybe it was true
Yeah,
from a utilitarian perspective.
Yeah, when he released those, I was
technological
like,
advancement
why
may
are you
spread
doing
because it has
this?
reason to spread, and countries necessarily.
I mean, I
adopt
get
things
it
that
because you're
benefit them.
you're the president and
never
you're
really
trying to get
considered
like
that
extra money
crypto
to do
scamming,
shit, but
the
it's
same
like
way it happened in
could have done
America,
something
the
else than
highest
do the
level of our
fucking
government,
crypto shit,
might
man.
also
Like
spread
what?
to the world. And you can call me
Yeah,
naive for that, but I guess I
Fucking
have
people,
just too
man.
much faith
Fucking
in humanity.
people.
Well, shortly after Trump and Melania promoted scams, the Central African Republic (CAR) did the exact same
No,
thing. Not
no. Other nations are doing it now too. Fuck. Oh shit! Fucking other nations are doing it.
as an individual politician this time, it was done as a policy of the country itself, it appears. A symbol of unity, they said, clearly emulating the tokens that came before them from the Trumps, which has now cratered as well by almost 99% from its peak
like
value,
obviously.
investing $10,000 at the height of CAR tokens' initial rise.
Jeez,
would now
it
be worth
went
less than
down to
$200.
fucking
But the thing we need to remember
.01.
is
They
that
went down to
meme
1
coins
cent.
are no longer some sort of fringe concept in the world of crypto.
I mean, it's
It gets
almost back
infinitely
to
worse
2
from
cent,
there.
but
The
that's
same people, at least
it's 1
some of the
cent.
same people who orchestrated the Melania token launch, have gone on to do it again, this time in South America, with Argentinian President Javier Milei. This one,
No, he also did it too. What are you guys doing? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Stop, dude. Just stop. Oh, no. Why?
one called
Just
Libra
why?
wasn't just a meme coin, or so they said.
Fucking
It was a
hell,
mechanism
dude.
driving, quote,
Oh my, the fucking Solana, dude, get the
future
fuck
of
out of here.
freedom and growth for the
God.
country. Excerpts from the website say things like, quote, Argentina is full
Oh,
of talent,
boy.
innovation, and entrepreneurs with great ideas, but resources to bring them to life are often limited.
Fucking
The
hell,
Viva La
man.
Libertad project was created
Why
with
are
a
you
clear
guys
mission
doing this?
to boost the Argentine economy by funding small projects and local businesses. supporting those who seek to grow their ventures and contribute to the country's development, end quote. Libra token was a meme coin.
I swear to God, every new thing that people try, whether I'm just gonna say that the reason why for the blockchain technology was to make sure that even if the banks were to fucking fail, right, you would at least have something, right? That's my perspective, at least, because of the whole blockchain technology thing, right? If the bank systems ever fucking screwed you over, right, you still had a subsidiary system, right, a subsystem, crypto system that will at least take care of itself until the fucking bank system fixed itself, right? But yeah, now that everyone has like a very bad taste in their mouth with crypto, and like all the fucking news that has been coming out on crypto, yeah, it's man, yeah, they screwed the poot. If they didn't release, I think it all comes down to releasing this technology, right? Releasing things at a certain point, right? You can't release it too soon, but you can't release it too late. And I think it's one of these instances where, yeah, crypto was just way too soon.
Solana, yet again, but it was also advertised as so much more.
Honestly, I think it's more so to the fact of the internet, of how fast we've been scaling society.
You can still open the application for funding on their website. It's just a Google form, a simple one, but the atmosphere of this token was not just a meme. It was, this is an actual part of the Argentinian government. And the launch was directly
because some countries have tried to use crypto as a means to
scam. Insiders cashed out. The price
to buy and sell things.
The president deleted his endorsement. And
for actual products in the market,
also
right, like for food and stuff like that.
The Melania token was the architect behind this project. Hayden Davis, a 28-year-old from Texas, supposedly, is King Moron. But somehow King Moron is launching crypto scams at the highest level of nation states. After Libra went sideways.
You can tell that this is fake. And that he's behind. It's like, what the fuck?
Davis decided to do an interview with CoffeeZilla, thankfully. That's probably the best person.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, Coffee. What was it, today or yesterday? I forgot. But yeah. He did do a video. What was this? 11? Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
CoffeeZilla information, in which he incriminated himself on upwards of a dozen international finance crimes.
Jesus.
And even began asserting that the Trump token was dished out to insiders at a crypto ball in Washington, D.C. Messages appeared, allegedly, sent by Hayden Davis, saying things like, quote, "Sweet. Also, we can have Malay tweet and meet in person and do promo. I control that, blank. I send money to his sister, and he says whatever I want and does what I want. Craziest shit."
Nice, insider trading shit.
Another one, allegedly, quote, "Yeah, fellas, to be honest, we are trying to max extract on this one. These founders, I don't know if they are bad guys or good guys. Normally, we are very keyed in to the launch, but this guy is weird," end quote. At this point, the reality of the situation is that a 28-year-old directly facilitated not one, but two separate meme coin scams on two continents, featuring two different political figures at high levels of government. And it is no longer possible to say that meme coins are a fringe concept.
Yeah.
Meme coins are a mainstay, damaging, and quite frankly, in my opinion...
I hope that Trump didn't work with these... I hope that... Why are politicians working with these idiots? Stop.
Criminal aspect of cryptocurrency, which is now one of the most prominent daily occurrences at the highest level of government.
Why are you doing this?
In Argentina, President Milei is now rightly facing a fraud investigation and possible impeachment. But what about America?
My God.
The president and his wife executed meme coin scams, and our media didn't even talk about it. The figure responsible for multiple of these high-level token launches openly states that crypto is a rigged game made for insiders, and alleges that Trump token was the exact same thing. But nothing happens. In one group are the crypto fans who knowingly perpetuate a system like this.
Yeah,
thinking,
don't do that.
It's okay.
Why
I'm
are
not
you
the dumbest
Why
one.
are you doing
I can make
that?
money
Why
from
are you
someone
trying
who
to
comes after
scam
me and
people?
offload
Why
it
are
to
you
them.
trying to be an
And
asshole?
in the other camp are
Why are you trying to
fanatical
fuck
political
people over?
zombies
I don't get
who
it.
mindlessly accept, defend, or hand wave away anything that this administration does, regardless of how obviously and truly wrong it is. I guess the third group is people like us who see right and wrong on full display here.
Yeah,
But
it's
apparently
like,
we're the
why?
minority because this is the world now. Cryptocurrency and
Yeah,
its
unfortunately
community
it is.
are a disease.
Oh,
What started as a fringe
yeah.
mechanism for degenerate gamblers to get their fix is now a mainstream technique used by
Well, I mean,
politicians at the highest.
honestly, I mean, yeah, it was meant for gambling. It was used on gambling too, yes. But see, this is why I have an issue with people, because they don't like science. It's too much thinking involved, too much critical thinking, too much trying to fix society's problems that nobody wants to fucking fix. I guess no one will understand, right?
This level in multiple countries, directly harming their own constituents, fans, and citizens. The damage being done is becoming immeasurable, and yet people still try to somehow defend it with lackluster claims.
I mean, I mean, if people hate scientists so much, you might as well just kill them all, right? Right? If you guys hate so much, if you guys hate the science field so much, you might as well just nuke it, right? Right? Stop all progression into medical field, right, and all that shit, right? Just let people slowly die. Let's let all the problems in the world slowly build up.
Claims about how it's just a meme or don't expect to make money or free market. Just one problem. Libra wasn't a meme. It was billed as an economic vehicle for the benefit of small businesses. And when talking about a financial mechanism like Solana or Pump.Fun or meme coins in general, or even crypto at large, at what point does something become damaging enough to get put down? Like literally put down forcefully. There are no benefits to Pump.Fun. None. Zero.
I mean, I know he's just talking about this one,
whatsoever,
right? This one subspace.
On the contrary, the financial harm it has caused is enormous.
Of the crypto sphere, but it's
has
like
now graduated to the level.
Yeah,
of
I mean, this
states.
crypto.
And
Yeah,
I think
this
it's time
space
we
is
realistically
really
ask the
destroying
question,
fucking.
when does
just
something
crypto in
deserve
general.
termination? Pump.Fun and the
Because people
concept of
buy
meme
into
coins
the
deserve to be
meme coins
terminated
for some fucking
with
reason.
prejudice.
The
people advocating for them should be shamed and ridiculed.
Thinking
until
they
are
can somehow
unwilling to publicly voice their
make some
Financial
crazy money
consequences of the
on
harshest
meme
order
coins.
should be levied against every single person, even tangentially involved with meme coin product launches, including sitting presidents. Because without making an example like that, the rot will continue to spread. Obviously, none of that is actually going to happen, sadly, but this channel is whatever I want it to be, and right now I want it to be this. Crypto may have started as something legitimate.
Well, I mean, even without crypto, people are already getting fucking targeted and fucking a bunch of hacking schemes all over the world. Right, you got the audit schemes and shit like that, and then you got actual like foreign agencies attacking people constantly, trying to get crypto funds and shit, or or social security numbers or bank information, right, stuff like that.
Or interesting or valuable.
Black
and I
market
was the
trading
kid
shit.
back in college ranting about blockchain and how it might change the world. I was the one getting funny looks from people when I wouldn't shut up about Bitcoin way back then. But this is the worst possible version of.
Oh. But even he was researching blockchain stuff. I don't know.
What the industry could ever become, and it's not slowing down. Ultimately, I can't actually do anything about it other than make my position clear, so that's what this is. My position is clear, and thankfully my conscience is clear because I don't trade in, support, advocate for, or associate with any of this garbage. That's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. Patreon, locals, memberships, etc. Special VPN deal for anyone interested. and more, but I'll cut it there and stop rapping.
I don't play into this garbage, yet he does all these he does VPN long.
As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
Like, I'm not knocking you, upper echelon, but come on, man. I mean, I get it. The fucking crypto space has a lot of shady characters in it. Right, and as the years go on, as more people get into the space, more people get fucked over. Right, more people learn. Yada yada yada. Cycle continues. Oops.
Again, this is Title IX, and this perhaps is the most controversial. And so I don't mean to demean, diminish, or disrespect anyone's personal views on this. What I will say is we have a civil rights framework in this state. It includes trans youth. This is a biological question. It is quite simply inaccurate to say biologically that there are only boys and there are only girls. There's a continuum. There is a science to this. There are children who are born intersex. There are children whose chromosomes and their hormones aren't consistent with their sex at birth. That's not a debate.
Wait, what?
We're going to have today. I just want to remind you of our civil rights obligation. Our state laws make clear that students get to identify and participate in activities based on the gender in which they identify.
Okay.
We're going to uphold that law, and here's why. And here's why every law.
Now I think he's conflating gender and sex.
Abiding Washingtonian, I hope will respect that. There's no law on the federal level that prohibits that. And an executive order of the president is not a law. He can interpret existing federal laws.
Right,
but
sex.
He cannot make new laws. It is quite simply inaccurate to say biologically that there are only boys and there are only girls.
What? Let me ask you something. Is it possible that you don't have a penis or a vajayjay? A vagina? Is that a possibility? Is it a possibility to not have an asshole? I mean, well, those are fucking birth defects, to be honest.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady.
As a kid, I did watch Mr. Rogers a lot. That was fucking hilarious. Yeah, he did do that one. Fucking Mr. Rogers. 10,000 years of human history, this has never been an issue. 15 years of social media, and now we need to rethink the entire universe, yep. So open-minded, his brain falls out? Yeah, I don't... Yeah, this is why I have an issue with some of these politicians and people who keep pushing this shit. I don't know why they keep trying to mix the two. Right? Why can't you just separate them? Like, you separate church and state, right? Like, why can't you? Why are we doing this? Why are we fucking doing this? Yeah, Mr. Rogers is correct. Like, stop this. They are going to force people into complying with their delusions. These people should be investigated, yeah. How is less than 1% of population getting special treatment? Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are the protected class, and then there are, right, the first citizens, you're right, first class citizens, basically protected class, and then you got the second class citizens, right? Basically, this is the protected class, and everyone is is the second class citizen. So everyone always cares about the protected class for some reason and make laws on the protected class. Or the protected class. And then they screw over the whole 99% of the rest of the population. Fuck these people. Assholes. But check the fuckers our truck. There's state voter here. No way people voted for this circus. There's no reason Seattle and Olympia should dictate the whole state, you know. The guy sits when he pees. How states think they get to ignore presidential, but hey, no funding sounds cheaper on the federal taxes, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they do that either. It's like, you know that if you do that, he's not gonna help you. And you need the federal funding to help your fucking state because it's burning slowly. Burning slowly. Oh yeah, I forgot he did this.
We are following two major headlines involving President Trump. The first, a judge blocks his executive order to end government grants for groups that promote DEI. The second headline, the president fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's San Antonio native Air Force General Charles C.Q. Brown. Now, in a post online, the president commended Brown for his over 40 years of service to the country, including his time spent as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The president says that he is nominating a retired Air Force lieutenant to be the next chairman.
Ah. So he is part of the Biden cabinet? Trump wants Ukraine's minerals. Oh, yeah. If they want help from us, yeah. Because we did give them a lot of fucking money and help. So we just want some things back, right? We help you, we want some shit back. Because you haven't given us any shit back. It wants half of Ukraine's estimated 11.5 trillion in rare earth minerals. Is a deal even possible? I don't know. I don't think he's gonna give away any of that. I mean, he might give away like some resources, but I don't think he's gonna give away half of. President publicly vaulted the American proposal because it did not include security guarantees. Oh, he's still asking for security guarantees? Bro. You're asking the wrong fucking nation for that shit. Why don't you ask fucking... Why don't you ask the EU? Like, they're right next to you. Why the fuck do you keep asking the US about fucking security guarantees? It's not our job. Like, what the fuck? Draft U.S. mineral deal does not protect Ukraine, Zelensky says. Negotiation perilous diplomat waters war torn country's leader must navigate as he seeks to win Donald Trump's backing. U.S. and Russia forge ahead on peace talks without Ukraine. I'm guessing this is from Reuters. This didn't happen, by the way. Ukraine will never accept outcome of peace negotiations without Ukraine's participation, Zelensky said. What was this, February 17th? Well, obviously. Yeah, I mean, this goes to show that Zelensky's pushing his weird own propaganda in Russia, or, I mean, not in Russia, in Ukraine for some reason, even though we're like, across the fucking planet. It's like, dude. What are you doing? After walking a fine line with Trump, Zelensky shows his annoyance. Left out of a meeting between American and Saudi officials, Ukrainian leader also canceled a trip to Riyadh. What? Why do I feel like Zelensky's just trying to invite himself into like deals that the America is trying to use, right? Make deals for themselves. And then Ukraine leaders in like, hey yo, I want some in on these talks too. Why don't you bring? Why don't we have a 3-way deal? Get the fuck out of here, you weirdo! What the fuck? I'm living in Russia disinformation space. Oh, because he keeps saying certain things. I mean, yeah, I mean, that doesn't. I mean, I don't think he's getting disinformation. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. I don't know where he's getting his information. But I think he's just trying to rile up Zelensky. Like, give him a call or something. I don't know. Zelensky has done a terrible job. Trump trade barbs as U.S. or Ukraine relations sour over the war with Russia. J.D. Vance warns Zelensky he will regret bad-mouthing Trump and condemns his atrocious response to peacetime. Yeah, I mean, every time that Zelensky, like, uses his propaganda machine in Ukraine to do all that shit and pisses off fucking Trump, yeah, it's not helping, by the way. Especially when you know Trump can see your fucking propaganda a fucking mile away. I mean, well, why do you think he only calls Putin, right? Why do you think he only calls Xi when he needs to? Because he knows that the news is spinning up shit constantly. So the fact that Zelensky is just playing into the fucking hands of the propaganda machine is just like, you fucking dirty fuck. As dictator without elections. I mean, him saying that was not a good idea. I'm just going to say that. Because obviously there's a wartime going on, and obviously they're not going to hold elections during wartime. But there's obviously also the fact that there's someone who's running against Zelensky who's actually like a sympathizer with Russia, I guess. I don't know. That's what I've heard. Trump slams Zelensky as modestly successful comedian and scathing. Modestly successful comedian. As say, Trump's frustration with Zelensky is multifold and blast insults from Ukraine. Well, I mean, yeah. Treating U.S. envoy rudely. Oh, U.S. President Donald Trump said Wednesday his Treasury Secretary was treated rudely during an official visit to Kiev, accusing Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky of sleeping and failing to make a deal. Oh. As no card shouldn't be at meetings with Russia. That's a... saying stuff like that doesn't sound like He's just chewing fucking Zelensky out. Trump says Russia has the cards in Ukraine's peace negotiation. I mean, to be frank, we were funding a lot of Ukraine stuff. We did allow Ukraine, right? The U.S. gave them the go, right? The U.S. gave them the go-ahead to use certain armaments, right? You can kind of see that we do have some say in what Ukraine does. Because we are funding them in a proxy war a little bit here. Well, I mean, during the Biden administration, right? They were doing it full blown, right? It was under the Biden administration all this shit happened, right? Giving them the weapons, the money, allowing their armaments to be used, right? And then now Trump's like, "Hey, you better fucking listen. you got what you wanted, right? With all your money and fucking weapons, and you used them, right? And now you better fucking come to the table." Tone it down and take my deal. Salvage his relationship with Trump and save Ukraine? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, given what Trudeau does and given what some of the Mexican president does, right? I hate to say it, but all of these guys are running fucking propaganda campaigns against each other. You can tell in British land, right? In fucking France land, right? In Germany land. Like, all these places are running fucking counterintelligence and fucking counter propaganda. U.S. Ukraine rare earth minerals deal not one President Zelensky would accept, source says.
A little later.
Surrenders to Trump and will sign mineral deal within hours. Damn. This was British Land Daily Mail. Ukraine's work on finalizing minerals deal to start on February 24th, Parliament speakers say. Hey, I mean, all right. I mean, as the days go on, the conflict still happens, right? I don't know if they're still sending people on the border and fighting, but yeah, or into those territories that are occupied. Trump says there are two sexes. Experts in science say it's not binary.
Yesterday.
And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. See you in court. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
Oh, I think some news article come out already.
Just hours after that dust-up at the governor's meeting, the Department of Education announcing a new Title IX investigation into Maine over the boys and girls in sports
issues. I saw this one.
It could result in Maine losing $250 million.
Actually, I didn't see this one, but we read a post.
Maine's a poor state. Losing $250 million over something like this just seems dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I took it that Governor Mills was also talking about the anti-discrimination laws that exist and that she'll have to abide by them. And we'll see. That was my expectation, that then this would happen immediately and there would be funding on the table and it'll play out. But the problem with some of these executive orders as it pertains to gender is that gender is a lot more complicated than they would have.
We're talking about biological sex, and then now we're talking about why are we mixing the two? I mean, yes, your gender can be male, female, right? But that's just a subcategory.
Have you believe the problem with some of these executive orders as it pertains to gender is that
gender is a lot more complicated than they would have you believe.
Look, you're either male, female, or other, or undisclosed. Those are the four options, okay? Male, female, undisclosed, other. All you need. Jesus.
No,
not really.
And now a word from the great and powerful Mr. Rogers.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady.
Look at Mr. Rogers fucking cooking back then, man.
Only girls can be the mummies. Only boys can be the daddies.
Camille's meat.
Sir.
How's it
going?
Hold him!
I'm trying! Help!
Holy hell.
Help us!
Oh, it's so nice
Holy
to
hell. Fucking having a seizure.
Jesus great.
There we go. Vatican shit. Oh yeah, there's this toxic positivity one. Oh yeah, there's this stuff. Let's... The Lincoln Project co-founder Rick Wilson claims Germany has more freedom of speech than the United States. I don't trust you.
I communicated with somebody from the German CSU a little while ago, and I asked her what she thought about what had happened with Vance, and the degree to which they were shocked and appalled and offended that Vance came there daring to lecture Germany, one of the most free countries on earth when it comes to expression, where...
Are you sure you want to say that? Are you absolutely sure you want to say that? Oh god, this is MSNBC, that's why.
America is now rated 55th in the world on freedom of expression. It was appalling, and it was insulting to people who have been our allies now since World War II, and who have, as few other nations ever have, taken the hard look at their past, done the work that's necessary to prevent a repeat of the past.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Is this the 60 Minutes one? Davis Jones police as they conduct a raid on citizen for posting a racist meme online. Yeah, I think this is the 60 Minutes one.
It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
And we were with state.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the 60, but yeah, we saw this one when it came. Oh no. No, don't show this.
Police as they raided this apartment in
it.
Northwest Germany. Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home, then seized his laptop and cell phone. Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime.
What kind of crime, you say? Well...
Crime, posting a racist cartoon online.
They posted Pepe the Frog and they got taken out.
At the exact same
Actually,
time,
I don't even know
across
if it was
Germany,
Pepe the Frog, but yeah, they're just going after all
similar
of them.
raids played out. Part of what prosecutors say is a coordinated effort to curb online hate speech in Germany.
Daring to lecture Germany, one of the most free countries on earth when it comes to expression.
Are you serious right now, bro?
No.
So today I came across this clip from...
Oh, I don't even care about Sea-Dog. Fucking... Every time Sea-Dog talks or Connor talks sometimes, I just... I don't know if I can help you. You're cooked in Japan. And also had he became I shouldn't say that. I mean, he didn't really become a sympathizer, but I mean, he had Hassan on, so it's like you're not gonna get a lot of good comments, to be honest. They were deleting comments during that they were deleting some comments in the section because YouTube was probably deleting comments too, because probably some people were just saying some horrendous shit. But I mean, that's what you invited. You brought him onto the podcast, or the Trash Taste podcast. That's what you get. Rev Jasmine Crockett says she does not support the Doge dividend. Says she does. Wait, you don't want $5,000? I want that $5,000.
Giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
I wouldn't mind it.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID. That was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us.
Oh, come on!
Because they already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times.
Also, all he did was ask a question.
Again.
Is he all right upstairs?
We had a
why was she
once
giving
in a
him
lifetime
mic?
pandemic.
Yeah,
the bad part is that I don't know if it's once in a lifetime, because we know that Ebola, unfortunately, was detected right here in New York here recently. And
talking about the scare,
or deciding that we don't want to.
I don't even know what happened about that.
As it relates to what they're telling us to do.
What?
I think she's conflating the situation, but I don't think it was that bad.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Or we don't want to deal with vaccines and medicine in this country, then we may be facing
That's
not
not
only
what-
our next pandemic, but our.
That's not what anybody said. Right? I mean, people do have a distrust because of you fucking idiots. I mean, this is your own goddamn fault. And you're all saying, oh no, it's the Republicans who did it. Bitch, you caused this. Your own party caused this. Like, what are you talking about?
Our next 2, 3, or 4 pandemics because of their incompetence. So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
What is Yeah, I don't... What? $5,000 could do a lot for me. I need to save a lot of money so I can buy my own house. I need to save a lot of money so I can fucking move the fuck out. I think we already saw this one.
This video is sponsored.
Alright, let's go. Toxic positivity. The modern disease. Can we just call it chaos positivity?
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. More about them in just a moment. What disturbs and depresses people is the hunt for happiness. There are few ideas as intuitive as thinking positively will make me happy. And in some ways, this is absolutely true.
Yeah.
After all, moping around the house all day, bemoaning your terrible fate, is not a surefire route to contentment,
that doesn't sound
to say
fun.
the least.
Yeah,
But
that doesn't sound
I do
fun
think
moping
that
around.
positive thinking can be taken
It's
too
not good
far.
to be a Debbie
and
Downer.
I am not the only one. The
Or a
phrase
negative
toxic
Nancy, right?
positivity has been coined to describe when being overly optimistic becomes outright destructive, blinding us to the harsher realities of life and eventually leading to our despair. And considering the advice to just think positive is certainly not going away anytime soon, I want to take a look at the ugly places this
I mean, it's like saying, hey, don't be mad, bro.
comforting cliche can go.
Well,
If it is
while
followed
someone is
through-
visibly upset and you're like, you don't have to be mad, bro. It's just like, you shut the fuck up.
uncritically. But first, if we are going to talk about toxic positivity, we ought to define it, just so we're all on the same page moving forward.
Sure.
And if it's your first time, then welcome. My name is Joe Foley, and this is Unsolicited Advice.
No, I didn't ask for your advice.
Don't you know that you're toxic positivity? Toxic positivity, like buzzword, is a bit of a buzzword, and as a result, it can become very difficult to talk about it with any clarity. It's also a new enough term and a new enough recognized phenomenon that there is not even an agreed upon definition within formal empirical research on the topic. There are a lot of general ideas, like that it's being inappropriately positive, or that it involves dismissing so-called negative emotions, but I am going to define toxic positivity.
Or enabling bad behavior, right? In a sense, that's what toxic, right? Basically, in general, enabling bad behavior, right? Enabling toxic, right, behavior, in a sense.
Its broadest sense with the following three properties. 1, the idea that a given situation is good or desirable. 2, this position is argued for on false or unjustified premises or flawed reasoning chains. And 3, this positivity causes some harm. I think this denotes an extremely wide idea of toxic positivity that will capture most intuitive instances of it. It also helps distinguish it from clear, non-toxic instances of positivity. To take very extreme examples, arguing that life is good because you have a stable income, a loving family, and a roof over your head may be positive, but it doesn't seem at all toxic, because provided that those are all true, this happiness is not based on unjustified premises, but seems entirely appropriate. By contrast, telling someone that they should not be sad despite their parents dying tragically in a car crash because some people have it worse seems much more like toxic positivity, partly because it employs a flawed reasoning chain. There is nothing about other people having it worse that implies that this situation is not also worth being upset over. Defining toxic positivity along the lines of reasoning chains and unjustified premises also encompasses situations where positivity is enforced simply by social pressure. If your community responds to any expression of sadness...
Oh, I see. Yeah. So basically mob mentality. This goes into some mob mentality shit too.
With instinctive hostility,
because you would
no
move
reasoning
with
chain
the
is
crowd.
employed at all, and having no reasoning chain
like
is effectively the same thing as having a flawed one,
it
as it makes
from time
every
to time.
conclusion a non sequitur. I've
Well, I
left
mean,
the
you-
third
you could see it with the
intentionally
Democrats.
quite vague by using
Fucking
the word
hive mind,
harm,
man.
which is itself pretty unspecified. If you think that an attitude based on false premises is inherently undesirable, then you may think that this criterion is superfluous, since anything falling under the first two parts of the definition will also, by definition, also fall under the third. However, I also want to allow for happy illusions that don't necessarily cause distress in the long term, but might nonetheless be based on what I would consider false premises. For instance, I am an atheist, but I do not think that believing your loved ones have gone to a better place upon death is necessarily toxic positivity. If it brings someone comfort and gets them through a very difficult grieving process, then I really don't see the harm in it. I don't think that it's true.
Yeah, so basically, kind of like telling a little white lie, right? And basically, this is a white lie.
Through a very difficult grieving process, then I really don't see the harm in it.
Cope,
I don't think that it's true, but I also don't think that it is toxic. Of course, this also means that what is toxically positive for one person may not be toxically positive for another.
Right. It's it's a subjective feeling, right? Because you may have had different experiences where, some experiences don't matter to you, whereas others do.
Since the same thing might help one person and harm another person. Someone appealing to a heavenly afterlife to make more...
Everyone has a different lifestyle they live. Right? Everyone has a... I mean, sure, your DNA... Right? Everyone almost has the same DNA, right? The DNA chain. Right? ATCG? Yeah. Right? but we do have our own, right, somewhat different genetic makeup in terms of, right, the features and yada yada yada, physiology.
Mourning that little bit easier.
But we're still human, right? Still fit under the human genome.
Seem toxically positive, even if we say that there is no such thing as an afterlife. But someone actively wishing for a martyr's death on the same premise may be toxically positive. Again, provided that the belief in the afterlife is false. The martyr is likely to harm themselves because, by definition, they will be seeking the opportunity to perish for their faith. It feels
right. They're willing to die on the hill of their ideas.
Strange to describe this sort of religious fervor as toxic positivity, but I genuinely do think that it fits the bill, even if it is a very extreme version of it. Though, obviously, if you are religious, then this may not necessarily qualify as toxic positivity, as you may think that it's based on true premises and may even think that it is a good thing to do. So far, this is all pretty abstract. But we can illustrate the definition with some classic examples of modern toxic positivity, and then go into much more detail about the examples later in the video. One toxically positive belief might be, I can do anything, or I will definitely achieve my dreams. It encourages a positive attitude, but is based on an overestimation of our power in the world.
Yeah, it's not based on reality, in a sense. It's based on a hope, a dream, right? A dream, right? Instead of a dream.
We will see. It also encourages us to blame ourselves for everything that goes wrong in our lives, since, according to this belief, we could have always done something
better,
and thus
done something about it,
like
tried something better.
Another
maybe
is everything
a
happens
different
for the
path,
best,
yada,
or
yada.
to use a more classic variation, this is the best of all possible worlds. This idea was popularized by the philosopher Leibniz and was heavily criticized by Voltaire in his novel
Voltaire,
Candide. It may also bring some pleasure in the short term.
Voltaire, I defend to the death for your right to say, right, that guy.
But it flies in the
French philosopher?
Face of fact, and can easily lead us to believe our upset or sadness is totally unjustifiable. And toxically positive beliefs are not just found in broad philosophies of life, they also occur in specific domains. In romance, people sometimes say, there is someone out there for everyone, or some variation on my Prince Charming is out there somewhere.
There's a lot of fish in the sea, right? Stuff like that.
This relies on a sort of mystical, amorous metaphysics where finding our one true love is destined from the start. It's comforting, sure.
Yeah, but, I mean, in actuality, there are people who stay single till they, pass away.
But it can also encourage people to have unrealistic expectations of love, as if their partnership is going to be some mythical paradise where nothing bad ever happens. It also means they might believe that love's the kind of thing that happens to them, rather than something that they need to work for or a skill they need to cultivate.
Yeah, you see this a lot in some people, right? Right, it's like... Right, some girls are some of the gold digger girls. Oh, why didn't this guy? Why doesn't this guy like me? Why does he keep turning me down?
It also means that we may disregard someone over something completely trivial because that's not what the one would do. Toxic positivity also occurs in the prescriptive proposition that we must be happy all the time, and that being sad is not just unpleasant, but aberrant, indicating some fault with us or our minds. This can even tip over into viewing unhappiness as a moral failing.
A moral failing, yeah. Same thing with, saying profanity a lot, right? People think that if you're using profanity a lot, you're unhappy or some shit like that, or you have some kind of moral failing of some moral failing.
A deficiency of character, like being greedy or cruel. It seems like toxically positive beliefs can form a scale based on either.
Well, I mean, just look at the trolley problem, right? In a form that could be some form of toxic positivity too, right? Depending on what event is going on.
How far it drifts from reality, or how much damage it does to the believer.
Yeah.
Saying there is someone out there for everyone can cause some damage, in my opinion. But considering that over 50% of people in most nations do end up being married at least once, it is not totally outside the realms of plausibility. On the other hand, the idea that human unhappiness is a sign of a deficient or immoral personality rather than an unavoidable part of our reality is much further fetched. Can you say further fetched? I think you can. Lastly, we can distinguish between toxically positive beliefs and a toxically positive attitude. A toxically positive belief is, as we've defined above, a happy-seeming but harm-causing falsehood. A toxically positive attitude is more nebulous, and it's an outlook that just refuses to recognize hardships or negativity when they do appear. As a result, a toxically positive...
basically running away from your problems instead of facing your problems.
Positive attitude will be more likely to generate toxically positive beliefs. We can think of it as a bit like being in an irritable mood.
Yeah.
While you might be angry at something,
yeah.
an irritable mood makes you more likely to get angry at anything that comes your way. In philosophy, this is known as a basal attitude, and it's a good way to distinguish holding a particular...
Basil, Basil, that dude. You talk a lot. I believe just in Philosophy 101 you learn about a lot of this stuff. Right, you at least in my philosophy class when I learned it, we talked a lot about Plato, right? Socrates. We talked about some of Basil, right? The Basil stuff.
Position from a vaguer mood or outlook on life.
I think we read the Iliad a little bit, the Odyssey, right? Some of that stuff a little bit.
It is the difference between liking someone and being the kind of person who tends to see the best in people. I would also speculate that holding numerous toxically positive beliefs could tip over into a toxically positive attitude. If you genuinely do think that everything happens for the best and that you have some great destiny awaiting you that's written in the stars, then it does make more sense to dismiss any negative feelings as totally unjustified. Thus, what began as a mere belief...
like the, right, fate, right, destiny, stuff like that.
Then develops into
you
a
are
basal
destined
attitude.
to be this person based on, right, your characteristics and blah, 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 or whatever.
I'll admit, that was a pretty heavy slog of distinctions and definitions.
Yes.
So I think we should move on to discussing some of the most...
Oh man, this is getting... this is getting real technical, right? Because this is getting into a lot of philosophical terminology. And, some of the ideology behind, right, the thinkers of the time when they were thinking about this stuff.
Most popular toxically positive beliefs around today, and why I think we should be so very skeptical of them. Starting with something parents all across the world tell their young children. But before we move on, I want to take a brief
Santa's
moment
real?
to thank our very kind sponsors for this video,
Santa's
Squarespace.
not real.
If you're looking to build a website, then you know it can be a real pain. First, you have to choose a domain name, and then you have to design the whole thing.
The Tooth Fairy is real.
Warning you that you might be building something that not only looks messy, but looks outright unprofessional. But this is where Squarespace comes into play. They have ready-made templates to take all of the headache and stress out of website building. They also have a feature called Design Intelligence, which uses AI tools to help you make design choices, which is very handy if, like me, you're not necessarily that gifted at website design and don't have the mind of a graphic designer. Head to squarespace.com/unsolicited advice to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain name. But anyway, back to the video. 2. Delusions of power. In many of our societies today, we place quite a lot of emphasis on empowerment and keeping people assured of their own ability to influence the world. And there is pretty good reasoning behind this. It has been consistently shown that if you chronically underestimate your ability, you will perform less well at certain tasks. Though it is worth noting that this finding has largely been observed in school settings, and that some more recent papers have questioned this overall consensus, especially in other contexts. But these nuances aside, it is still received wisdom that if someone estimates their competence in a given task rather highly, they are more likely to perform well on that task. This is often because they persist in the task for longer, investing more effort since they believe that if they just try hard enough...
Right. Well, you're spending the time to research more, right? To read more, to learn more. So yeah, obviously, as time goes on, you're going to get better and better.
They are
understanding, right, what you're researching or reading or computing or whatever.
Likely to succeed. We also observe how destructive the opposite extreme can get. Research in learned helplessness describes how, when someone does not feel like their efforts are at all likely to succeed, they often underperform on tasks and give up their efforts far too easily. This is corroborated with studies into stereotype threat, where the average performance of groups who are told that they are ill-suited for a particular task perform less well on that task.
Yeah, you see this happen in the sports area a lot sometimes.
But this effect is also lessened with targeted self-affirmation, suggesting that it is the lack of self-belief that is causing the underperformance. Given this general idea, it is easy to fall into thinking that a higher perception of one's own ability is always good, though it is worth noting that the evidence is not nearly as strong for this conclusion, since most research is on isolated instances like formal exams, rather than evaluating general performance in the long term across a wide range of metrics. And, contrary to this self-esteem aggrandizing view, some philosophers are very worried that we are overemphasizing our ability to achieve and ultimately making our lives much worse as a result. Perhaps the most famous modern thinker to put forward this view is Byung-Chul Han, who linked an overestimation in ability with burnout and despair. In his view, to tell someone that they can achieve anything is a vicious lie. They cannot achieve anything. Much of their life is just out of their hands.
Right.
And they are limited.
Exactly. Right. You can achieve some things, but anything that, no. Right. Especially, right, you cannot, right, if you're colorblind, or if, right, and you want to be a pilot, right, you can't achieve that. That's not possible. Or if you have a depth perception problem, or right, if you don't have 20/20 vision, right, you can't do certain things, right? If you have right, mental issues, you can't work certain jobs, you can't operate certain vehicles, right?
By all sorts of situational factors. For instance, I weigh about 90 kilos. I will never be a world-class jockey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm what, 5'6". I will never be able to, right, be playing football in the fucking big leagues, right, or be good at basketball, right.
No matter how hard I try. But if we have it drilled into us that we can achieve anything if we only work hard enough, then it is easy to blame ourselves whenever anything goes wrong. After all, you must have just not put in the effort. If you'd only worked that bit more, you probably would have succeeded. Of course, this is true some of the time, but it's clearly situational. If I don't study for a test and then I fail it, then that's on me. But if I fail a test because I have a serious case of the flu on the day of the exam, then that is outside of my control. But if I genuinely think that I can achieve anything, then this distinction just falls apart. What starts off as a nice-sounding optimistic platitude quickly becomes the crushing weight of unlimited expectations. A good example of this is gifted kid burnout, where people who are told they had exceptional abilities as a child suffer immensely when they discover that they too have limits, and that the expectation that they will change the world or become the best at something was probably misplaced. For me, this is a fantastic example of a toxically positive overestimation of abilities. To generalize from these examples, this form of toxic positivity is a delusion of control. It suggests that the outcomes in the world and in our lives are far more down to our actions than is actually the case. And it's worth noting, this is not a new phenomenon. We find it in Boethius's The Consolation of Philosophy all the way back in the 6th century. Here, Boethius faces a truly awful fate. to be executed on trumped-up charges by the Byzantine state for standing up
this one. Okay, yeah. I remember.
To what he saw as outright corruption. In his cell, he pens this work as a way of coping with his impending doom. And something that frustrates him to no end is that his death will be unjust.
Yeah.
If he had actually committed some heinous crime, then at the very least he could reassure himself that he kind of deserved this. But to be executed specifically for being good strikes him as unbelievably painful.
Yeah.
In response to this, he comforts himself with the realization that fortune is fickle, and that being good is no assurance of coming out on top in any situation. He recognizes that sometimes you can do everything right and still fail. This is not some personal fault.
Yeah, no.
It is just how Lady Fortuna changes her whims.
Exactly.
To quote esteemed philosopher Frank Sinatra, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. And yes, I know he didn't write that song. We get it. You know a lot about jazz. The point still stands.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the most pernicious yet popular forms of this style of toxic positivity is that we can all achieve our dreams. In the short term, it is wonderful to feel like this is true. It can be motivating or comforting to feel like all of our hard-won efforts will pay off in the end.
That's
and we
all
will
it
achieve
is. It's
our
just
dream
cope.
life, our dream career, our dream family, and a whole lot more.
Yeah,
but
that's a utopia.
This is just not the case. Most of us will never achieve our ambitions, and even if we do, we will probably just keep coming up with new ambitions until we inevitably don't achieve some of them. This point was made brilliantly by the pessimistic philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, who argued that what we desire is often pretty divorced from reality. In the real world, we are limited by all sorts of things. Our ability, our time, our prior commitments. But our desires are formed in our imagination, where anything is possible. We can so clearly picture ourselves living our dream life that it really seems like it's possible.
I'm hearing the USD has canceled black scholarships? What? Are you talking about USAID? The USAID? Huh? How does USAID have anything to do with black scholarships? What?
Schopenhauer thinks there are only two options here. Either we will not achieve these desires and be disappointed, or, against all the odds, we will achieve them, only to discover that they do not make us nearly as happy as we thought. Our minds will create new desires. We will think, I can't possibly have achieved my dreams yet, since I am still not satisfied. So, we'll postpone the dream one more step. Come up with a slightly bigger fantasy, slightly larger desires. We often think that our wants are like filling a hole in the ground, and that
the United States Department of Agriculture is canceling scholarships. Oh, of agriculture. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. Well, yeah, but what does the USD agriculture have anything with? So confused. Have anything to do? What kind of black? I don't even know what. Is the Department of Agriculture a school? Like what? Agricultural scholarship programs. That's what they're talking about. It's this stuff. Federal aimed at boosting students from undeserved and rural areas attending historically black colleges and universities has been put on hold. Oh, it's just been put on hold. They're not canceling. They're probably going to look through each thing and probably take out some stuff and then keep stuff in. They're probably just changing the program a bit. Yeah, National Scholarship Program and Partnership USAID and yeah. Yeah, I think they're just replanning things.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is suspending a college scholarship program for students in rural and underserved backgrounds who attend historically black colleges and universities. A banner on the USDA 1890 National Scholars Program website said it has been suspended pending further review. The SU is one of 19 HBCUs that are affected across the nation. When asked for a comment, the USDA Office of Partnerships and Public Engagement said,
so all the universities that had scholarship programs.
In an email, they could not provide details about the scholarship.
Huh? Could not provide details about the scholarship. What? What do you mean? Why not? So, wait, but what about the students in those programs? Do they get to know the detail? I'm so confused. See, this is the issue with a lot of this shit. Just there's no information being fucking told. Right? They just don't tell anybody anything. It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? But yeah, I think they're just replanning shit.
One day the hole will be full, and we will finally be happy. But Schopenhauer thinks it is much more like feeding a fire. No matter how much fuel you'll give it, the fire will soon eat it up, and then demand more in its place. To quote the pessimistic philosopher Emile Cioran, all men who cast a glance over their past ruins imagine that it is in their power to recommence something.
Speculation is not good for a country already on edge. I mean, just look at fucking Canada land and Mexico. Every country is on edge. Just look at Ukraine and Russia. I mean, everyone's on edge because people are still fighting over there. Oh, what's going on in this video? Oh, he's just talking about toxic positivity in today's day and age. It's just all the different instances.
Radically new. Every man promises everything, but every man lives to know the fragility of his spark and life's lack of genius.
Positivity is toxic.
The
just
common thread between these examples.
Not that. The whole like fat stuff like enabling fat people to do their thing, enabling people to just abuse drugs and shit, stuff like that. That's toxic positivity.
Of overestimating control is unduly heightened expectations. If we begin by thinking that we control an
allowing
exaggerated
people
amount
to
of
just
the world, then we will expect
destroy
life
themselves
to go a certain
in a
way.
sense.
We will imagine that we can overcome all obstacles, that people will come to appreciate our unique gifts, that our supreme talent and ability will eventually come to be recognized.
Fucking philosophy.
But none of this is necessarily true. It is lovely if it happens, but to think that it definitely will, and more than this, that we can definitely make it happen with determination, grit,
saying
and
that
the
your
sheer
dreams will
ferocity
come
of our
true,
desires.
or at least all of your dreams will come true. That's toxic positivity. Obviously, all of your dreams won't come true.
Is to set ourselves up for disappointment, disillusionment, and despair.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention this type of toxic positivity specifically because I think it is all too common today. The people who incessantly spread...
Tell that to the prosperity preachers. I mean, right, to each their own, right?
This message that anyone can...
It's just it's just to critically think about life in general, right?
Achieve anything, probably
and just
genuinely
a lot of,
do believe that this is true.
What old philosophy people talked about.
Or that, even if it's not, it is a happy
this
illusion.
is well documented.
But I hope that this section has persuaded you that things are much more complex than this. I'm not suggesting that someone's potential should be minimized or that they should be told an equally harmful lie, the lie that they'll never amount to anything and it's all hopeless. I'm just suggesting that we can find a sensible middle ground between these two poles. One where, to draw from my favorite Stoic philosopher Epictetus, we recognize just how much of life is outside of our control, but also do not neglect what is truly in our hands. But now I want to turn to a very different kind of toxic positivity. If this was toxic positivity about ourselves, our next target is toxic positivity about the world itself. 3. A charmed life.
Yes.
In much of the early work of Friedrich Nietzsche, there is a general attitude that life is almost unbearable.
Yeah, so basically he's just going through all the great philosophers of of our time that talked a lot about this stuff.
In The Birth of Tragedy, he argues that most of us can only confront the bare truth about reality if it is reflected in great art. This is a view he would later come to abandon, suggesting that with enough strength of will, we could look life directly in the face.
The world's still turning and burning. Yep.
Though, of course, like everything about Nietzsche, there are differing interpretations on both of these points.
Yeah.
It's a view he had initially inherited from Arthur Schopenhauer, who also believed that most people could not bear the full weight of life, at least not without a glossy coat of paint put over it. However, I think they would both be very skeptical of having an excessively illusory view on life. And, specifically, they would both heavily criticize the belief that life is somehow necessarily easy or would involve little to no suffering. Looking around, our culture has inherited an awful lot of positive-sounding platitudes about life that I would argue do constitute toxic positivity.
Oh yeah, the religious aspects. Yeah, some of the religious stuff, right? Toxic positivity.
We have already mentioned ones like everything turns out for the best, or it is all meant to be, or it is always darkest before the dawn. But now I want to examine them in a bit more detail. I should say, I don't think these are always bad. As a temporary comfort in difficult times, I'm sure they can form happy passing illusions to take the edge off of existence. But
escapism, basically, is what is basically what they're talking about here.
Internalize them too much, they can give us a deeply skewed idea of life that is ultimately going to come crashing down on us. The ancient Stoic philosopher
Religion doesn't
Seneca
put a glossy
used
coat
to
of paint on the
caution
world.
specifically against having a too rosy view of reality. He argued that there were few greater recipes for long-term misery than to imagine that life will inevitably go well, and that hardships will be few and far between. Instead, he recommended that we occasionally pause and reflect upon the genuine worst-case scenarios that could happen to us. This was not to be some macabre rumination designed to stoke our anxiety, but instead a sort of mental preparation. The
of
thought
things
that
to come.
life will always be good.
Because, yeah, I mean, there's just shit in life that's fucking dangerous. Yeah.
Is transformed into life will bring numerous severe hardships, but this is in the nature of life, and I should not expect it to be any different. On the surface, you might think that this would make him miserable, but Seneca said that this outlook allowed him to endure difficulties much more easily. Rather than the sufferings taking him by surprise, they were instead greeted like an unwelcome but ultimately expected visitor. By contrast, if we imagine that life will always be easy or that it is necessarily and inevitably good, then hardship will take us completely by shock. We will add to our suffering because we will be unprepared for what has come to pass.
Oh, you know what toxic... The red pill, right? The manosphere, the manospheres people, those guys are fucking, those guys are toxic positivity. Feminism, toxic positivity as well. Right, different form.
Personally, I think it goes far beyond this. The trouble with having
at least
this
some of the
rose-tinted view
activists
on
of
life
how they're doing
is that it
shit.
makes suffering not just painful, but also a break from the norm. Rather than some harm being unavoidable as a fact of life, and acting to prevent the harm that we can, it seems like a cosmic injustice. We will feel betrayed by the universe itself. We were sold an idea that it was the world's job to be kind to us, and when the uncaring face of reality unveils itself, we are taken aback by the sheer dishonesty of it all. In more severe forms, This can manifest in the same type of self-blame and self-hatred that our previous examples of toxic positivity did. If we imagine that life is unalterably good, it naturally follows that we ought to be happy. It means that the reasonable reaction to existence is positive, optimistic, and cheery. Thus, if we are not those things, if we find ourselves feeling sad or melancholic, if we feel our love for life fading, if some days we struggle to get out of bed, or that the world does not seem like a gift, but
or have
a
hate,
task, that
hate
life
towards
is not
humanity,
some grand adventure, but instead
losing faith in
Sisyphean
humanity,
effort, that consciousness is not the divine spark lighting up reality, but a curse of excessive awareness that sometimes comes with anxiety, inner torment, and agony. If we sometimes feel all of this, then we will naturally conclude that the problem is always us. Our negative reactions can never be the
I lost my faith in
appropriate
humans
response
years
to the
ago.
ups and downs of the human experience, but instead must
Yeah, I
always
mean,
be a personal failing.
Yeah,
Somehow
at
we
the
have
end of
failed
the day,
in seeing
right,
the
it's-
inherent brilliance in whatever
yeah,
situation
you're always
we happen
fighting
to have fallen
yourself,
into.
right?
We should really be happy that our loved one has passed
Right,
away,
you're
or that
your
we
own-
are painfully
you're-
ill,
you
or
are your own
cripplingly
worst
lonely,
enemy.
or that everything we have worked so hard
Literally.
for is crumbling before our eyes. This seemingly banal platitude denies us the obvious truth that sometimes bad things happen and that life can suck,
Yep.
and that to be unhappy is not always
Yeah,
a
that's just
malfunctional
life.
perspective, but can be
Sucks.
a natural and almost unavoidable reaction. It
Life
is
sucks
not
sometimes, right?
always a
Life is
sign that
unfair
we are not
sometimes,
tough
and we
enough,
just gotta
but
deal with it.
sometimes a reasonable reflection of the circumstances we are in.
Yeah.
Early Theravada Buddhism recognized this,
Yeah.
which is why the near inevitability of suffering
Is baked in
into
Buddhism,
so
yeah.
much of the work around this philosophy.
Yeah.
In just one of the Tripitaka's many, many parables, suffering is compared to being
Yeah.
hit by an arrow.
I mean,
According
it's
to this story,
it's part of
each
life.
time that pain
is
arrives,
what they say,
we
right?
can
In
compound
Buddhism,
the
it
pain
is a
with
part
our
of life,
reactions.
and that's why
we
they
can feel
accept
shame
it
at our sorrow,
wholeheartedly.
or we can cry out that the universe itself is against us. We can get angry at ourselves, or embarrassed, or frustrated.
Exactly. I mean,
By
yeah,
our
those are
reaction,
just
we
human
intensify
emotions,
the
right?
pain. Like tightening our grasp on a hot iron in the mistaken belief that this will cool it down faster.
Yeah.
The parable itself compares this to being hit by a second arrow, this time one that is completely optional. However, with a different attitude, one that recognizes suffering will come, but does not get attached enough to it to be carried away with these reactions that exacerbate the suffering, we could learn to only be hit by the first arrow. I would argue that a toxically positive set of beliefs about the world will lead us to being like the first character in the parable. The
yeah.
natural.
I think a lot of Christians today could use a lesson in suffering from the first century Christians. Right, they need to go back to their roots. The Judeo Christians, right?
The conclusion of being overly optimistic about life is that we will react
You
poorly
need to
to
take
suffering
some-
when it does arise, doing ourselves significant extra
Look back
harm
and take
in the
some
process. I think that this
introspection.
form of toxic positivity can also come in so-called main character syndrome.
Oh
This phenomenon is
no,
often
not,
observed online
not the
and
Animu
refers to someone
character
who acts as
syndrome.
if they are the main character in
No,
some kind
Animu
of film or
character.
novel. Many people have chalked this up to simple self-importance.
Anime
but I
people.
would suggest it's a bit more subtle than this. It seems like it's just as much an assumption about the world, that it will necessarily adhere to a story structure that can be made sense of at the time by placing yourself in the role of
Fuck.
protagonist.
God damn it. Now that I said about Animu, I'm thinking about VTubers and streamers now. God damn it. Dude, some of the... not the TikTok syndrome. Yeah, I'm just thinking about some of these content creators, and I'm just like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it sums about right.
This is different to the practice of employing narrative judiciously to understand and organize information.
like I said,
which is a
everyone's
practice
kind of
touched
a
upon by
walking
many existential
contradiction, right?
philosophers. Rather, The person
We all
suffering from main character syndrome thinks that the arc of the universe tends towards their betterment. They genuinely think that it will all work out in the end. Not
And
in
at
the
that
sense
time,
that
you
they
just
will
gotta
be
put
able
your
to
foot
cope
down
with
and say,
hardship,
"Ah,
and that
well,
they are
sucks
ultimately strong
sometimes,
enough to
right?"
bear the sufferings of the world, but rather that the world itself will eventually cough up whatever it is that they want. Not
Mhm.
necessarily through excessive hard work, as in the previous section, but just because it is the natural tendency of the world's movements.
Yeah.
This attitude encourages us to think that this could not possibly happen to me, or
Mhm.
that things will
Yeah.
just happen to go our way in the end.
Yeah.
Of course, since the universe is ultimately not constructed like this too sets us up for fragility
Yeah.
and disappointment.
Mhm.
As I mentioned in the first section, I think that the final development of this kind of toxic positivity is the moral imperative to be happy with the world and with yourself at all times. That if you dislike aspects of yourself or occasionally view reality as fundamentally unfair or
yeah.
uncaring, and this sometimes gets you down, that you have failed. This
Yeah.
goes beyond merely harming ourselves and can
Yeah.
easily begin
Yeah,
to harm others.
right, it all comes
means
down
we
to,
can
right,
refuse to recognize other people's
self-loathing in
suffering
a sense.
or suggest that it is
Right,
necessarily
fighting
their fault.
yourself.
This is the flip side of you just haven't worked hard enough to achieve
Yeah.
your dreams. If the universe truly is the best of all possible worlds, then we can only conclude one thing from someone's misery. They deserve their unhappiness. They must
Basically.
have done something wrong.
Yeah,
and that this
right. You must have caused yourself to get unhappy, right? And this is of your own making, right? This is of your own volition, right? You voluntarily put yourself in this situation. Right.
is a punishment. It is the same genre of reasoning that led some people in the past to see certain diseases
Yeah.
not just as bad
Right,
luck, but as
right, it's the same thing with people and doing the whole generational guilt thing or guilt by association. It's like, oh, come on, dude. Yes, stubbing my toe was my fault. Yes, exactly. But yeah.
as a sign of the moral deficiency of the sufferer. The idea that the world is fundamentally
I
just
accidentally went
carries
too
with
fast
it a
and hit my
sinister
hand.
implication.
Fuck, it hurts.
That all perceived examples of injustice or evil
Why did I
must
cause this?
have been deserved. But lastly, I want to turn to the alternative. What is the antidote to all of this toxic positivity? Well, I think the answer is already out there in some of our richest philosophical and religious traditions.
Yeah.
For the consolation of pessimism. When we call someone a pessimist, we tend to mean it as a bit of an insult. We think of them as unreasonably downbeat and maybe even a bit unpleasant. But I would like to say just a few words in defense of the pessimist and argue that a touch of their philosophy...
it's right. It's just you're a pessimist, as in your outlook on you have a skewed outlook on life because you have gone through certain situations where you basically hate humanity in a sense. Or you hate life. Or just seeing the realities of life sometimes, right? I just found that I'm a realist. Yeah.
Can actually help us in our hour of need. First,
yeah, I guess being realistic means you're fucking pessimistic, right? Or being a realist, right?
Firstly, when you are unhappy, the pessimist understands.
I mean, it's not that you're
Someone
unhappy,
like
it's just that you see the dumb shit
was
that's
some of our
happening
most
in front of
natural
your eyes,
states.
and it's just
For
like,
him,
why?
it was not a wonder that we were sometimes miserable, but a wonder that we were sometimes not. This reassures us that when we are unhappy, it is not that we are broken, but that we are human. We have a human will and a human mind.
Correct.
And as such, we just will feel awful sometimes. Secondly,
You see the shadows of the
pessimistic
words,
philosophers
dark corners.
remind us that we are not alone. And I'll be revisiting this point a lot over the course of this section. If our unhappiness is an inevitable part of being human, then that unhappiness is shared. I've mentioned this on the channel before, but I am really prone to bouts of loneliness, even when I have no reason to be. And sometimes when I'm...
No, I would assume. I would assume everyone has bouts of loneliness, even though it's not affecting them in the way, right? It's not like super. Right, it's not a super strong feeling, but it does creep, right, slowly in the back of your mind sometimes.
Lying awake, feeling like this, I ponder all the.
Yeah, well, when you can't sleep, or sometimes when you're working a job, sometimes.
The other people in the world who
It
must
happens.
be having the same sensation.
I mean, you're just human.
How they too will feel this slight ache in their chest and a small lump at the back of their throat.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it really helps. As Camus might put it, it transforms a solitary suffering into a shared solidarity. And Schopenhauer was pretty explicit on this point as well, suggesting that we should greet one another not as sir or madam, but as fellow sufferers, to emphasize that we're all part of this community of
the suffering community.
And I do think it's telling that so many religions also
we
put
are
forward
in the
this
community of
moderate form
suffering.
of
Come one and all.
For almost all Christians,
we all
we
care
explicitly
for
live in
you
a fallen
suffering
world,
and chaos.
and we ourselves are corrupted by original sin. This idea is often maligned by atheists like myself, but I actually think that there's a certain pessimistic wisdom in it. It implies that
Jesus?
the world will not be particularly kind to us,
Jesus?
and that we will make many mistakes. It places a lot of existence outside of our power, and states that we're going to suffer. When treated carefully, I think this general notion can be a very effective check on potential toxic positivity. My favorite form of this idea is in the Four Noble Truths
What's
of
with
Buddhism.
the Jesus painting?
Specifically,
Because he
the
was
first and
talking
third
about
noble
the
truths, that life
religious
contains suffering, and that we can
undertones of
also
it.
alleviate that suffering. In this case, through Buddhist practice. I think this finds a very good balance between recognizing that suffering is
Jesus
a natural
did suffer
and
for our
unavoidable
sins,
part
right?
of human existence, but also that there is hope. It is not unduly optimistic, but it also doesn't condemn us to a living hell either. Above all, attitudes like this eliminate the overriding idea that suffering is not normal, or is a break with the proper and predictable state of affairs, where we are happy, content, and blissful. Instead, it makes pain just the sort of thing to be expected.
Oh
On the
no,
one hand,
everyone's a
this
masochist.
is quite an unpleasant truth to come to terms
Oh
with,
shit.
because the illusion
Oh no,
that
we
happiness
created
is
a
the norm
society
is
bunch of
quite comforting.
masochists.
It has a surface-level optimism to it that naturally inspires hope. But, as we've discussed, that particular form of hope is not all it's cracked up to be, and has deeply unpleasant consequences further down the line that I think outweigh this initial benefit. And the realization that everyone else is also suffering from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune has another
Oh
interesting
no,
consequence.
everyone's getting the
If
fucking
they are coping
tomatoes
with
and
it,
shit.
then chances are we can as well. This
The
may sound like the
fucking-
sort of
the joke,
overestimation of
the
control
clown,
that we talked about earlier in the video,
the
but I think
jesters
there's
of
a
the
crucial
court,
difference.
right?
Whereas before we were overstating
Oh, no.
how much power we had over the world, now we are looking at the evidence that people all around us are suffering in reasonably similar situations
Yes.
to our own, and yet are somehow holding on.
Correct.
And then we come to the reasonable inference that humanity has a remarkable capacity for endurance.
Yes.
And that perhaps
Very resilient,
that
by the way.
capacity is found in us as well. We have replaced
Humans are very
reckless
resilient,
optimism with a kind of
as we
tempered
suffer all day
pessimism,
long.
one which recognizes the hardships that lie ahead, but also empirically observes that those hardships are likely to be bearable. We
Yeah.
are just one small speck at the whims of powers far beyond our control,
True.
and sometimes far
Like
beyond our
cockroaches,
understanding.
exactly.
But if the evidence is anything to go on, we are a durable speck nonetheless.
Yeah.
And there are billions of other specks suffering just like we are.
Yeah, I mean,
who
if
are
you
our
want to break
brothers
it down
and
to like the
sisters in arms
molecular
in this
structure,
constant
yeah,
battle
we're just
against an
nothing but
uncaring
fucking
universe.
right
We will
frogs
never
in a
defeat
goddamn
the
well.
beast of unhappiness once and for all, but we can expect its arrival.
Yeah.
And take some solace in knowing that we are not its only
yeah,
prey.
exactly.
And that while none so far have outrun it,
everyone's
many
caught
have
up in
been
the
able to
same
survive
cycle.
the hunt. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle used to talk at length about the effects of tragic theatre, how watching a truly genius work of tragedy can cause us to reach catharsis, where we are plunged into emotional turmoil and yet find a strange peace at the other end of it.
True.
Aristotle was talking about plays, but the pessimistic philosophers can help us take a similar attitude towards life. Existence itself can be
Except
awful,
we can't survive a nuke.
Sometimes we are
That's
powerless
true.
to affect some of the
And when
major
that happens,
beats of our life.
sucks,
and yet,
right?
to confront this with a certain philosophical
much we can do.
attitude can transform an unendurable pain into the soft, accepting catharsis.
Yeah, well, once a nation launches a nuke, that's it, dude.
So perhaps it is high time that many of us
all we can do
take
is
a
wait.
less dismissive attitude towards pessimism. As strange and counterintuitive as it might seem, sometimes it is freeing, comforting, and even purging to look suffering dead in the eye and simply say, well, this is shit. But if you want to explore more of
that's
this
life.
kind of
Life is
darkly
unfair.
comforting
Suffering.
philosophy, then check out
Everyone
this video
suffers.
to see why having a crush is so strangely painful. Thank you so
Everyone
much for watching,
suffers.
and have a wonderful day.
Schmeagol suffers.
President Donald Trump's.
Fucking, the Maine governor suffers. Fucking Kamala Harris suffers. Everyone suffers. Okay. That was a good video. Right. And that was Toxic
This
Positivity.
video is
It's a big, yeah, it's heavy on the philosophy, though. He does talk a lot about big philosophical players in the field. There we go. No, not the terrifying predictions of George Orwell. Anything but that, man. No. Oh, God. So what's with Charlie Bucket giving life advice? Who the fuck is Charlie Bucket? Who? Charlie Bucket. I don't know who that guy is. Who's that guy? Charlie Bucket from Charlie and the Oh. Wait, what? Oh no. Because of the book? I mean, if you dream it, you can make it happen. Nothing is impossible. No! No! Toxic positivity! No! Get away from me. But yeah. No! Oh yeah, I saw this shit. I was like, should I watch this? Shit went down. When was this? I don't know if I want to watch it. Fuck you.
How long is
Oh no. No, don't say that. Jesus fuck. The Epstein files getting released. Get ready for a night on the couch reading the Epstein. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really want them to release those files. But yeah, they said they're still trying to look at what they can release. Oh boy.
Baby been gone?
I have a bad feeling about this.
3 months? Mm-hmm. No, none of that. No, I confess.
What? What are you confessing to?
What'd you confess to? What you do?
Oh my fucking god. No fucking way did this lady do what I think she did. Oh my god. Holy shit. Sorry, this is pretty rough. Nuking half the government and 98% of Hollywood would not be good. I mean, honestly, I think for Epstein, it's just like high status people, right? That are in government, that are part of other countries' governments too, right? I'm thinking like Prince Charles, right? Prince Henry, those motherfuckers, right? Very high status people for the Epstein stuff. For P. Diddy stuff, I'm thinking more like celebrities and like prostitutes, basically. Yes or no, Joe Biden is on the list? I mean, I would think so. Now, was he a part of like the island stuff? Probably not. But was he a part of maybe just taking the jet to certain places in America? Sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure Trump obviously used the services of the plane, the private jet as well, or private plane. Right. A lot of these people were using it as a private plane to go to certain places in America. But did these people go to those islands? Who knows? Maybe. Or wherever that fucking place is out in where?
Face. Those kids are
When officers receive reports of a 3-year-old boy who hasn't been seen in over 3 months, they rush to perform a welfare check.
I mean, with him sniffing children and shit during his presidency and shit. I mean,
the mother's home.
I mean, I'm not ruling it out, but at the same time,
and a horrifying discovery
we don't know.
that
We don't
demands
have
answers.
any evidence.
As investigators
right?
dig
we don't
deeper,
have names.
they find themselves confronting a reality far darker than they could have ever imagined.
He wouldn't eat, and I just took it overboard.
What you do?
The following report is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. In the city of Detroit, Michigan, on June 24th, 2022,
yeah, this is gonna
in
get
Wayne County
fucking
received
dark.
a 911 call from Child Protective Services.
I got a complaint.
They're talking about letting
a
kids rub his
mother
leg.
reported to her family that one of her children was given away at the hospital.
Joe
The
Biden.
same mother told a neighbor that her family members had the children. Well, the family members.
I
went
mean,
to
he
the
also
house
had that
and
his
confronted the
what
mother, and
his
she will not give up the information.
the
where
diary
child
of his
is,
daughter,
there's
his
a
daughter or
concern that the child was
something. It
actually
was like,
dead.
what the fuck is
How old the
happening?
child? 3 years old. There are
Yeah, the
5
Hunter
other
Biden shit. It's like,
children in that home as well.
Officers arrived at the home of 31-year-old
you know for sure Hunter Biden was probably doing some fucking shady shit. Now with Epstein, probably not. Maybe with P. Diddy. This woman did not do what I think she did.
Tragedy, France, where her conflicting answers regarding the whereabouts of the 3-year-old boy begin to raise serious concerns.
No, I mean, some father's son plotting.
What's your son's name? Jake Allen. How old is he? 3. Okay, where is he? What's the name? What name? I gave my old friend, a friend of mine. Okay, where does she live? That information is in my iPhone. Do you have your phone? No. You have a phone number? No, it's in my iPhone. Where's the phone? It's not here. Where's the phone?
Here.
It's
Oh,
broken.
she's not. She's obviously not being cooperative.
So
This
it's
is
not here,
weird.
it's broken. Is it broke or is it just not here? Or is it both? No, it's not here.
Oh.
How long has baby been gone?
Oh, right there. Oh, this is the initial confrontation.
3 months.
She's trying to lie. Oh my god. Like she already knows she's fucked, right? Because you already have the police investigating. They're not gonna leave.
3 months? Mm-hmm. So has baby been in the plan for 3 months? Yeah. I mean, I don't I asked family members to get them.
Yeah, yeah, her story's already fucking inconsistent and shit. It's like, oh shit, man.
And he's blind and he needs special attention. And she's being to help us. Okay, where does she live at? I'm not sure. So you gave your baby to somebody that you don't know her whereabouts, you don't know where she lives, you don't know her phone number. You don't know none of that. You know. Okay, can we come in and make sure he's not in his house? Do you have a search warrant? Doesn't matter. Well, I'm asking you for permission. Can we come in and check this house for this child?
Things take a sudden and unexpected turn when Azure D steps outside.
Yeah, as soon as she steps... Oh my God. Dude, what the fuck? Why are people like this? Oh... Like... This is why some people shouldn't have fucking children. Because holy fuck, man.
Would you confess?
You're willing to fucking do that? You fucking disgusting human being.
Yes, sir. What you do? Can I talk to you in private, please?
What you do? Can I talk to you in private, please? Oh my God. Dude, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Put that on it.
As
Yeah,
Azure D is
Jesus
handcuffed and led away, other officers step in to speak with the children, whose ages range from just 2 months to 9 years old.
How many of you are here? Four. Door locked? Yeah. Oh, it's my baby sister too. Is your baby sister 5? You guys, where's your brother at? Can you tell me? It's okay.
Apparently, one of the kids are sniffling because they know some shit happened. Dude, these kids are fucking traumatized.
Is he in the house?
Can't remember. Oh, man. Yeah, these kids are traumatized.
Can't remember anything? Do you remember, like, the last time you saw him? You're not in trouble. Is he inside?
Your mom's gonna be okay. She doesn't know what you're telling us right now. Is he inside the house? Just shake your head no or yes. Yeah.
Can you show me? Yeah. Okay.
Oh
Somebody show
my
me.
The
fucking
officers follow
God.
the 9-year-old girl into the home,
Oh, to
unaware
have
of the
your
grim
own...
discoveries awaiting them inside. Meanwhile, Azure D makes a chilling
Jesus, to
confession
know
about
that
the
your
missing boy.
one of your siblings died like that. Oh my goodness, dude, that's probably so fucking traumatizing.
Listen. He was malnutrition and I was scared to take food. Okay.
What?
Where is he? In the basement in the fridge.
What? Why?
Okay, have a seat.
I mean, we saw it in the fucking beginning, but what the fuck?
You said he's where? I'm nervous. Where's the baby? You said he's in the basement and refrigerator.
Oh my.
I'm nervous.
When
did he pass away? How long ago? In March. The end of March.
Oh my God. At the end of March, and it's June. He did it at the end of March. And when they found out, it is now June 24th. Like, come on, dude. What? Oh my God.
Malnutrition and I didn't want to take him.
She was literally,
Put your foot in
yeah.
the car. We'll get you some shoes.
Malnourished kid. Decided not to go to the hospital or anything to, right? Like, Jesus. Yeah, March, yeah, 4 months. In the fucking, in the refrigerator.
One officer quickly races inside to tell the others, but nothing could prepare them for the horrifying discovery waiting downstairs.
Detroit police!
Oh no, dude.
Detroit police!
The little girl told me to.
Detroit police, if you're down here, say something.
Dude, this whole house just looks so bad too. It looks unclean. Like it probably smells bad in the house too.
Detroit Police, if you're down here, say something. Detroit Police.
There's fucking trash everywhere. Like, oh my god.
You guys don't want to see them, though.
Yes or no?
I'm gonna guess it's in the bag. I don't have those.
I don't either.
That?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's blood.
The officers closely examined what appears to be a plaid-colored.
Was the kid before she put it in the freezer to? I think so.
Damn.
It's hard to say because she didn't really answer that question. But I mean it's pretty much implied.
You want?
Yeah, I got you.
It's
because it's been already 4 months, and when they came and they talked to her first, right, her story was all fucked up.
Confirmed.
Yeah. The skeleton remains. You don't have to look if you don't want.
I'm gonna look. I got you. Yeah, I got you. I can smell it.
If you want me to pull it back, I can.
That's good enough for me.
Outside, Azurdy offers a harrowing explanation.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I didn't beat him. I didn't.
That doesn't matter. Yeah, dude, these cops are probably so fucking disgusted and upset. Like, this is so inhumane and fucked up.
He was malnutrition, and I didn't
Right there.
know who to call.
I didn't... That's abuse. What do you mean? You didn't fucking call anyone. You saying that is literally implied that you did do abuse in some sense.
It's not abuse. I was scared.
But she did put him in a freezer after starving him, yeah?
This is the second time Azurdy has claimed Chase's death was caused by malnutrition.
Yeah.
She would later change.
Yeah, she keeps saying it's malnutrition, but I don't think so.
Change her story during her interrogation and reveal a more gut-wrenching truth.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like a or anything, but I can't talk about anything. I can't talk about the case. The detectives are en route, and they'll go from there.
Where will my kids go?
Well, they're gonna be
No. Will family get them?
I can't speak. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
That's what's happening.
They're on their way.
CPS area, yeah.
Oh my God, no, please. They have family.
Officers
that
now
that doesn't matter.
turn their focus to the safety of the remaining children. Upon further inspection, they learn the house is crawling in roaches, and there's no running.
Unsanitary house. You already had kids living there. And then this mom decided to fucking off one of her kids.
Water or food in the kitchen.
Like, what?
In the living room, officers quickly...
How are they survive? Like, what? Wait, there's a 2-month-old baby in the swing? What the fuck? This lady is just pushing out babies? And what the fuck?
Locate the 2-month-old in a baby
Why are you doing this? What?
Yeah, the milk's just spilling there. Hopefully she stays asleep.
With the exception of the eldest 9-year-old girl and the infant, the other children aren't wearing any clothing.
Is that your little brother? Where's his clothes at? Does he have clothes? Yeah, he does. Where at? You want to show me? She's just grabbing clothes. Where do you sleep at? We sleep in my room. In this one? No, this one. You sleep in here? Okay.
Jesus.
While one officer...
Fuck. This is just so inhumane and fucked
looks
up.
after the baby, the other children are escorted safely to the back of a police cruiser.
Come on, babies.
Come on, guys. You guys want some candy? You guys want some water? You only got one bottle. You have to pass it around, okay? It's flavored.
Thank you.
You guys like hot fries?
I don't think you should get that. Oh, okay.
The children are given a cell phone, which they use to watch a movie while officers outside grapple with the unthinkable tragedy.
I don't think you should give them the kids some fucking hot Cheetos, but there's not much you can do.
She's ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Like, what was she trying to do? I'm so confused by this whole situation. Like, why? Yeah, exactly. It would be the first meal they had in a while. Like, because you don't know at that point, like, what the fuck she's been feeding them.
Dude, I already knew he was in there. You see that on the floor?
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Well, I seen the bag. You could see the head shape and then the bottom of it.
How you want to put them in a freezer that don't even work?
I think it was a fridge. Like under those fridges.
She's disgusting.
She said it's been 3 months, right? Is what
She initially said, right? But she probably beat the kid or something, right?
initially said. The
Like
baby
there,
that
because
she just had is only 2
right,
months
she
old.
got the kid in the fucking right in the apparently a bag.
Baby died before she even had the baby, so she can't really claim.
You can tell it's because they're malnourished. She's
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
very skinny. I asked them which room they were sleeping in, the one that I couldn't even open the door. It just reeks of pee and
Oh my god. So they were just defecating and pissing in a room?
starvation, probably.
Yeah,
In a
it's
bag.
probably more starvation, yeah.
But I was trying to figure out what we're doing with these kids to get them off scene.
As more reinforcements arrive at the scene, curious neighbors gather outside,
Oh, yeah, I
watching the
bet.
situation unfold.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Do my neighbors have to know?
Huh?
Do my neighbors?
Man, listen, you're asking me a lot of questions.
I'm nervous. I'm
I
sorry.
got you. I know. I understand you're nervous, and I apologize for that. But right now, we don't know what's going on yet. So when we find out what's going on, we will let you know what's going on.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I want to punch this in the face. In reality.
Yeah,
Knock it off.
I mean, dude, when you have that happen, like, no one is right? No one is prepared for that kind of shit, right? Even officers don't, right? Just the inhumane shit is just so fucked up.
I'm worried about it. Stupid cunt.
Officers contact Child Protective Services,
Yeah,
who begin
I
making
mean,
their way to
yeah,
the
I'd be
scene
with
to
that cop
assess the
there
children
too,
and
shit.
locate a safe place for them to
Oh,
go.
man.
Before they arrive, the 2-month-old baby wakes up hungry, and the officers face a nauseating dilemma.
There's no clean bottles.
Just grab it from the water. I'll shake it out and whatever.
I'm gonna check the kitchen real quick. I don't see any. Might just have to rinse that one out.
It's moldy milk in here.
Oh no, yeah, no, you can't.
She was working on a bottle. Yeah, it was moldy.
Yeah, you gotta get a new bottle.
I was like, I'm just gonna do it before walking down the street. Yeah, it was. I opened it and it hit me in the face.
No, no, she was feeding babies moldy milk? No, dude. What the fuck? Oh my fucking god. No wonder. She's just a disgusting human being. What the fuck?
While Azure D has yet another question for officers.
Dude. put this bitch in Jesus fuck. This is some disgusting shit. Oh my god.
Shoot, hopefully we take you so I can flirt with the girl from homicide. Nothing. Nah, you're fine. You don't need to.
Oh my god. No lawyer. Yeah, no lawyer in the world will defend this fucking person. There's no way. She is. Holy fuck. The amount of charges that are going to be put on her. Oh my goodness. Dude, she might be in prison for life. Just killing her son, moldy milk. Yeah, killing her. Yeah. Not only that, but she had other kids too in an unsanitary house, right? The living conditions were all bad. Dude, holy fuck. Fucking biohazard and literally trying to kill all these kids. Am I charged for homicide? You might be charged for more shit. Like, well, just homicide? Oh shit, no, man.
No, I said, hopefully we take you so I can go flirt with the girl from homicide.
Another problem arises inside the house as officers attempt to locate diapers for one of the younger children.
The 9-year-old said that's their bedroom, so I don't know if there's a diaper in there.
Is there diapers in there?
I don't see any either.
Like I said, get the one out there right away so the child's not sitting and filling
Yeah.
Outside, members of the Detroit Fire Department arrive on scene and attempt to get up to speed on the situation.
I'm gonna go downstairs and see what the deal is.
It's decomposed, so.
What's up?
Hey, don't cover up the baby. Okay. Just because of the circumstances.
Well, it's still covered up though with the
bag. That's fine. I just want to leave everything the way it was when they first got it.
All right. I changed my mind. I'm no longer going inside.
When Child Protective Services finally arrive, they determine that the children must go to the local hospital for a thorough
they have to
examination
go
while they
get
attempt
checked
to
out.
reach family members by phone.
Okay, little ones. I have a
Last long if other inmates find out she will be dead in a week. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't want to talk about the prison system because the prison system's fucked up too. But yeah, I mean, if they find out that you did some fucking heinous shit like that, oh man. Those prisoners won't be so so happy.
With the children safely on their way to the hospital, Azure D is taken to the police station for an interrogation, where investigators confront her with the question of whether or not she physically harmed Chase. Her response is nothing short of heartbreaking.
Never hit him.
What? Okay.
She did abuse. She did abuse.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I did.
She was lying the whole time in the fucking beginning. Rules of prisoner of women and children are off limits, and I would assume the same too. Because I know for sure in the men's prison, you will get got. You will definitely get got in the men's prison.
Yeah.
Man, remember, it's okay now. Just win.
I don't want to be in trouble.
You don't want to be in trouble? Holy shit, bitch, do you know what you fucking did? Like, what the fuck?
Just win.
Okay, I was frustrated. I did hit him.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
A couple times.
I know. So when was the time? When was the day?
Why?
I was frustrated and I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to.
But this.
No way. She made a She made a Twitter post? Oh, a Facebook post. Sorry, not a Twitter post. She made a Facebook post on the day that it probably happened. Oh my fucking god.
This is the time to say what happened.
He wouldn't eat, and I just took it overboard.
He wouldn't eat, and I just took it overboard. Because you were probably feeding him spoiled milk. Like, what? Like, dude, we saw the house, right? I don't know if it has been that dirty for that long. But that house was fucking turned upside down. That house was unsanitary. Like, what the fuck? Overboard is getting angry and yelling? What she did is passed over? Yeah.
What you do?
I started hitting him.
Ugh. You went full fucking psycho. Like full on mental. Fucking nutso. You started hitting it and then I kicked him one time. What the fuck?
Yeah, I kicked him one time. That was it.
What the fuck?
Where you kick him at?
I think in his chest.
Oh no. My son about to get his ass whooped. I hit him, told him to stop messing with. He gonna hit me back? Oh hell no. Yeah, she did beat him. July 16th, 2016. So dude, she was making posts of the times she was doing abuse, it seems. Right, one in 2015, one in 2016. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, what happened after you kicked him in his chest?
He laid down, and I went to go check on him, and he was okay. But the next morning, he didn't. I tried to feed him, he didn't get up.
Do you think you ultimately killed?
No, I don't think I could have, but I don't think I did.
You don't think abusing him all those months did something to him?
Yeah, basically abused him for 3 straight months. Probably didn't feed him for 3 straight months. And that's how they became fucking malnourished.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what she said on the first day, or on the first time she posted. Holy fuck. Imagine what oh yeah, definitely. They probably saw that shit go down. That's why they're all traumatized. Right? That's why they didn't even want to speak at the first time the cops started asking them questions about stuff.
You don't think kicking him in the chest that day did something to him? That's a yes?
Yeah.
Alright.
So this is where she started first abusing.
While we haven't been able to confirm with records, several news outlets reported that Chase suffered multiple skull fractures.
No way. Holy shit, dude. This lady is a fucking menace. Multiple skull fractures.
On June 27th, 3 days following the discovery of his remains, Asherty entered a plea of not.
No wonder your fucking child passed away. Or wasn't responsive. Like, what the fuck?
Not guilty to charges of felony murder, first-degree child abuse, torture, and concealing the death of an individual.
Yeah, Jesus.
While awaiting trial behind bars at the Wayne County Jail, she discusses the future of her case with an unknown male.
I'm going to trial in January.
What type of court date is on the trial?
For me to take the lie detector test.
But they want to ask him about it.
About how he got that knot on his head. They want to see if I did or not. But I know I ain't guilty, so I don't got nothing to worry about.
On February 26th, 8 months after her arrest, she delivers a jaw-dropping statement while speaking with an unknown woman.
Yeah, that was weird. Who was she talking with? Was the dude the father, possibly? The baby daddy? Because right when they did the right when they made contact with her, there was no baby daddy. Yeah, that could be a lawyer as well. I don't know. Yeah, it was a male, so it's hard to say. And then now there's a female that she's talking to.
I had the baby yesterday.
Oh, you already had the baby?
Yeah, I was in there since Friday.
Oh, this is the time when she popped out another baby.
Oh, damn.
She was born at 8:04 yesterday.
You had a girl, but it just...
Yeah, she's 10 pounds.
So that what's her name and come and get her?
I don't know. They didn't even...
What the... Dude, this lady was just getting fucking turned up, railed. She was literally a cum dumpster. And then the baby daddies left. Yeah, baby daddy in jail or across... Yeah, exactly.
As soon as I pushed her out, they took her. They asked for my auntie number, and that was it.
However, we haven't been able to confirm through records that Azure D gave birth to a 7th child while in jail.
Wait, what?
On July 12th.
Wait, she gave a... What? In jail? What?
2024, 31-year-old Azure D. France changed her plea to guilty for the charge of second-degree murder, while all other charges were dismissed. She was sentenced to 35 to 60 years, with 767 days credited for time served.
35 to 60 years credit of time served. So she was already she already served 767 days. Right, but she's probably still had, what, 365 days? So she already did like 2 years, basically. Or like a year plus. Almost 2 years.
Currently incarcerated at the Michigan Department of Corrections. While the current status of Azure D's children is unknown, a GoFundMe created by Chase's grandmother raised over $8,000 for funeral expenses and the ongoing care of his surviving siblings.
Oh, yeah, that however old that lady is, yeah, she's probably not getting out. She's probably gonna die in prison, to be honest. Jesus. Oh yeah, there's this case going on too. About the 4 university students being murdered. And then they, for whatever, Brian Koberger for whatever reason, he's a suspect. Yeah, it's still going on. I don't think this guy did it, to be honest. It feels like they just pulled this guy out because he was a part of the school's criminal department, or something about education department, something about education. I forgot. But yeah, I don't even know how they got this guy either. I just remembered, yeah, there was the 4 university students who got, and then all of a sudden they found a suspect, and then that was it. That's all I remember. Oh, they released 6 more. Oh yeah, they were parading that. Yeah, they made that guy fucking kiss the. Yeah. Yeah, they were parading him around, and then they made him kiss the fucking Hamas terrorists. Well, yeah, it was weird. Voters will head to the polls in Germany. National Governors Association evening dinner. Oh, there he's at a dinner. Yeah, you know, fucking Zelensky folded. I mean, he had to. Especially with all the shit he was saying. You got the fucking propaganda machine spinning. Luigi finally appears in court. Wait, why are they giving him a vest and everything? That's so weird. I guess someone's trying to take his life or something. That's so weird. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm getting tired. And I got fucking school shit to take care of tomorrow. Or, well, later today. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Much appreciated. I will be back, probably later today. Probably look at some more news and, probably maybe play a game or something. I'll try to play a game.